It's a Tuesday. Now, you can do whatever dance you want. Good morning, Jamie.
How are you?
How pretty is she, man?
How good do you look?
Stop.
New haircut on this Tuesday. It's because we didn't see each other for a couple of days now.
For a moment,
so now when I see you, I'm just like, oh.
I was fishing. Thank you, man. Hopefully you are feeling fantastic this morning. Thank you so much to everyone who took part in yesterday. What an amazing way to start the week. So we've got to pick up where we left off, and we're going to have a very interesting show. In fact, a vital show for you to watch this morning.
Absolutely. This morning, we are going to be focusing on addiction. Now, more specifically, addiction to cell phones. I know we all go through it. It's currently a thing right now, but we are going to be focusing on that this morning. Then we all know it's a problem for so many of us when you're scrolling on Instagram and all these other apps, and for an hour and half an hour, that easily goes by, and you're still on the app, just scrolling by.
And and as much as you know that it's a problem, you keep doing it.
Absolutely. So we're going to find out what is the underlying cause of this addiction, and are we just procrastinating? Those are the questions we're going to be asking today.
Maybe it's your job. Maybe you're an influencer and you're allowed to. But yes, we'll have a balanced discussion then. Another topic of discussion this morning is a burnout. A lot of people are going to be doing a big sigh right now. How much is too much in terms of workload and stress in our daily lives? And where do we draw that line? Because sometimes we're in survival mode and we've got to do what we've got to do, but we need to look after ourselves. So we want you to share your experiences with us, and please vent a little bit. This is, as we say every morning, a safe space. So Zoe, if you feel like it this morning, you can vent about just how much volume your hair has. Have you ever seen such voluminous hair?
So gorgeous.
Wow.
There's a lot of volume today. You know what? Thank you for that, Jamie and Graham. And this is the part of the show where we get to connect with you on social media. And this morning, for our Good Morning Post, our question is, have you ever suffered burnout? How did you notice it? And what did you do to recover? Burnout is quite serious, so please, if you want to be part of this conversation, comment on our Facebook post or even send us a WhatsApp voice note. That number is 063 408 8863. Burnout is real. It's something I've experienced myself, but we would love to hear from you, and we will take a look at all of those answers and voice notes throughout the show. It's that time of the morning for us to say hello, and of course, to take a look at your morning headlines. Here's Jamie Lee Domberg.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Starting on the national front this morning, Eskom says there is a possibility that the stage of rolling blackouts may have to be escalated at short notice, depending on the state of the plant and also the availability of labour. The blackouts moved from stage 2 to stage 4 on Friday, and this is expected to persist until tomorrow for now. Eskom blames the unprotected industrial action at various of its power stations for the move to stage 4 blackouts, as this has impacted planned maintenance. Now, workers at 9 of Eskom's power stations went on strike on Friday. Meanwhile, 8 people were arrested in Cape Town yesterday after being found with Eskom cables in a truck that was hijacked a month ago, Western Cape police have informed. Now, the truck was hijacked in Piketberg on the 29th of May while transporting the aluminium overhead cables, which have an estimated street value of 2.5 million rand. Investigation and surveillance led police to a storage place in Blackheath, Cape Town, where 6 rolls of cable were found. They will appear in the Blue Downs Magistrates Court today. Then looking to news on the international front, some $3 billion will be invested over the next 10 years to end vaccine dependency across the continent, the Africa Development Bank has pledged. Now, the plan includes a new pharmaceutical center for research, development and manufacturing based in Rwanda's capital, Kigali. It has been widely lauded as key towards ending Africa's dependence on outside donations, as recently witnessed during the COVID-19 pandemic. The bank says it will also help patent and license African-made medicines and support governments to navigate the intellectual property rights to global vaccines and medicines. Then staying on the international front, Iran and the US will restart their stalled talks aimed at restoring a landmark 2015 nuclear accord in Qatar with mediation by the European Union. Tehran's chief negotiator Ali Bagheri Khani arrives in Doha today to begin the talks. Now, US Special Envoy for Iran, Robert Malley, is already in the Qatari capital. The US unilaterally abandoned the peace deal with Iran in 2018 during the presidency of Donald Trump and imposed tough sanctions on Iran that are enforced to this day by current President Joe Biden. Then finally, this report is especially for our very own Mr. Nature Boy. Our viewers know him as Raldo Mornay. An Australian mechanic has smashed the world record for the most push-ups in an hour, completing a staggering 3,182. Now, Daniel Scully managed to surpass the previous total by 128, cranking out 51 push-ups every minute for a solid hour. His feat has been officially confirmed as the second Guinness World Record achieved by the 28-year-old, following his record-breaking stint last year when he spent 9 hours and 30 minutes in an abdominal plank position. And incredibly, he has done all of this while suffering from a condition which can cause excruciating pain. Now, Daniel has suffered from a condition called complex regional pain syndrome since he was 12 years old, and it has developed when he broke his arm, and it's virtually his brain telling his left arm that there's pain there. Now, he says, and I quote, anything from a soft touch or a slight movement can cause unbearable pain. Daniel has also raised $61,000 for the Australian Pain Management Association. Well, what says you, Nature Boy? Eat your heart out, mate. On that note, that is where I leave your 6 o'clock news headlines. We will be back on the top of the hour, but right now it's time to have a first look at the sports. Here's G-Man.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Let's start with cricket. And what a footing. Morazan Cup's maiden Test century helped the Proteas recover from 45 for 4 to post ultimately a competitive total on the first day of the once-off women's Test against England in Taunton. The 32-year-old recorded the highest individual score in Proteas women Test history with 150 off 213 balls, an incredible feat. That as South Africa were eventually bowled out for 284 thanks to her efforts. Annika Bosch making 30 there in support, while captain Sine Lewis also chipped in with 27. England's opening bowlers did most of the damage with the ball, with Kate Cross taking 4 for 63 and Lauren Bell 2 for 47. Then staying in the area, but switching to the men's side of the draw, we continue with cricket now. England romping to victory on the final day of the third Test against New Zealand at Headingley to seal a stunning 3-0 series win. So the hosts scored the 113 runs needed to complete their chase of 296 in only 65 minutes as they won by 7 wickets. So after rain delayed the start of play, England lost to Ollie Pope for 82 in the first over, but Johnny Bairstow and Joe Root banished any nerves with a dominant, unbroken stand of 111. Root then finished unbeaten on 86, while Bairstow, he smashed a whirlwind 71 not out from just 44 balls. England also became the first team to successfully pursue more than 250 in 3 tests on the trot, after chasing 277 in the first Test, 299 in the second, and now 296 in that third and final. Then onto the rugby front, plenty to get excited about ahead of the weekend. The Springboks, unfortunately, though, have a little bit of a luster lost as they'll face Wales without the services of former World Rugby Player of the Year Peter Steph du Toit, who will be missing that first Test on Saturday through injury. So du Toit had a shoulder operation a few months ago and hasn't completed his rehab, even though he is with the Springboks at the moment, with assistant coach Dion Davids revealing that he'll only be considered for the second Test against Wales in Bloemfontein. Du Toit can only start contact training from Thursday, which is too late to render him eligible for selection this weekend, with a team set to be announced later today. We'll certainly be watching that space. And then, of course, all the action going down on the grass courts again, and defending champion Novak Djokovic overcame a scare to notch up his 80th Wimbledon win yesterday with a 4-sets victory over Kwon Soon Woo of South Korea. 6-time champion Djokovic, he triumphed 6-3, 3-6, 6-3 and 6-4 under the centre court roof. The world number 1 becoming the first player, man or woman, to record 80 singles wins at all 4 Grand Slam tournaments. I think we are in the era of these kind of feats with the players that are still on the court. Then Spanish teenager Carlos Alcaraz, he came from 2 sets down to defeat Jan Lennard Struff 4-6, 7-5, 4-6, 7-6 and 6-4. Then in the women's draw, Tunisian third seed Ons Jabeur continues her charge. She proved far too strong for Miriam Brokland, sweeping past the qualifier 6-1 and 6-3, while home favourites Emma Rukenbeet, Alison van Eindvak 6-4 and 6-4. And we'll certainly continue to track all the results out on those grass courts of Wimbledon. But that's where we leave our sports for now. We'll touch on those headlines again at 7. Let's bring you up to speed with the weather.
Thank you, Graham. And just a quick news update for you. Recent rainfall has slightly lifted dam levels in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, but authorities are still concerned about water consumption levels in the area. Dam levels increased to just over 13% after it rained in the Eastern Cape last week. Parts of the metro received as much as 40 millimeters between Wednesday and Friday, said the SA Weather Service. During the same time period, the Jubertina catchment area had 33 millimeters of rain and the Koreadow catchment area more than 55 millimeters. The Koga Dam catchment area registered almost 16 millimeters and the Patensi catchment area just more than a millimeter. The rain has delayed the opening of communal taps and the throttling of water supply to extend water reserves in the Churchill Dam, which has 94 days of water left. The Luri Dam has 23 days of water left and the Grondal Dam 168 days. The Nelson Mandela Bay municipality has warned residents not to become complacent and said they are still using too much water. Well, from gloomy skies to some sunrise views. These were sent in on our WhatsApp line just yesterday. First up is this one from Stallone Pillay from Umkomaas in KZN, showing off a beautiful sunrise up from behind the palm trees. Then Owen out in Lakeside sent us this one with the sky filled with beautiful purple and red hues. Kiara Andrews sent this one from the Kariga, showing us how beautifully lit the sky is in her neighborhood. And Carol sent this one just after 7 a.m. from Amanzimtoti, where the sun is coming up from behind the ocean. Finally, we had this one sent in by Cecilia out in Bonteheuwel, where the sunrise is filled with deep purple hues. So beautiful. So please continue to send those sunrise photos to us. You can do so on the WhatsApp line. That number is 063 408 8863. Well, let's look at your temperatures, starting off in Limpopo. If you're in Polokwane, a low of 5 and a high of 15 for today. Mbombela, 11, reaching a high of 19 with some rain. Cloud cover in Pretoria, 5-17. Johannesburg, 3-15. And Mahikeng, sunny, a low of 3, a high of 17. Klerksdorp, your low is 0, reaching a high of 17. Kimberley, the same for you, 0 with a high of 17. Bloemfontein, a cold start of -3 and a high of 17. Richards Bay, 10, reaching a high of 22. It's sunny in Pietermaritzburg, 5's your low, 22 your high. Durban, 12, reaching a high of 22. It's sunny in Mthatha, 4's your low, 23 your high. East London, 12, reaching a high of 23. Cradock, 0 with a high of 24 today. Gqeberha, 8, reaching a high of 23. George, 11, 23. Cape Town, 14, reaching a high of 24. Worcester, 10, 25. Sutherland, 2 with a high of 17. And sunny conditions for Uppington, 5's your low and 22 degrees Celsius. That's your high for today. We'll have another update for you shortly after 7. But remember, if you've got a beautiful sunrise photo, please share it on our WhatsApp line.
Thank you so much, Zozo, for that weather update. Wherever you find yourself on this Tuesday, make sure it is a beautiful day. But of course, it is hashtag Tuesday, and I'm going to need every single one of you at home to help me pick between 2 golfers from Woolies this morning to wear on today's show for the rest of the 3 hours. Now, option number 1 is this plain, slim fit golfer. It is crafted, as you can see, from some breathable cotton. Absolutely love it. It has a hint of stretch for that extra comfort, and that again is option number 1. Now, option number 2 over here is this textured golfer featuring some horizontal lines and a contrast collar. And now both of these looks will be styled with blue jeans, some white sneakers, and of course this beautiful faux leather biker jacket for that extra warmth and just that edgy effect. But luckily, it is not up to me, Mzansi. It is up to you, so the choice is yours. What I want you to do right now, stop what you're doing, is head on over to Expresso's social media pages, and then all you have to do is vote for your favorite golfer that I should wear for the rest of the show. It's that easy, that simple. And of course, don't forget to include that hashtag styled by Woolies. And who knows, I could be wearing one of this for the rest of the show. So please help me.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso live here on S3 on a Tuesday morning as we open up to some health discussions. Today, we're tackling the topic of addiction and how to deal with it. Now, a recent study has come out. It's found that a significant percentage of 18 to 26-year-olds check their smartphones upwards of 30 times in an hour.
Where do you have the time?
30 times in 1 hour. What? Surely aren't doing anything else. And it can be crippling. Now, here to talk about that study and addiction in general is mobile solutions specialist Matabo Sikhonyana and addiction counselor Guy Duplessis. If you think that you suffer from some sort of addiction, be it in relationships, scrolling on social media, or even eating certain types of food or drinks or substances, share your experience with us on our WhatsApp line. That number is 063 408-8863, and of course, share those experiences, questions, and our panel will be happy to discuss further. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
That is some crazy stuff. 30 times in 1 hour. And maybe, Guy, you can weigh in first. From a psychological perspective, what exactly is addiction?
There's many different definitions. Maybe just to give a sort of elevator simplified one, it can be seen as a relationship to a behavior or a substance, which there's sort of two elements. The one is loss of control, and the other one is negative consequences. So normally when those two elements are present with any type of relationship, then it's sort of seen as addiction. Addiction is also on a continuum from mild to severe. But basically, it's those two elements that need to be present for it to be determined as addiction.
Matabo, you spend a lot of time looking at behavioral sort of dynamics. And one study that you've recently conducted found that young people are spending almost a quarter of an hour, or is it a quarter of an hour on their smartphones? And I'm sure you came out with lots more findings in this study. Tell us more.
Yeah, I mean, some of the more shocking ones for me is firstly, on the topic of addiction, 80% of people saying, I am addicted. So saying, you know, I have lost that sense of control, that maybe there are some, you know, negative aspects.
Yeah.
A second part of that is 40% of people saying, you know what, I'd rather skip meals than run out of battery power. In the previous study that we did at Aduzi, we saw that people are renting our power banks twice a day. So what that means is I can't go a day without my phone.
They feel that they're not connected to the world or to what's going on around them in the absence of their cell phones.
100%. And obviously we live in South Africa, so there's the safety concern. Most of our respondents are saying, if I don't have my phone, I feel anxious, I feel vulnerable. And obviously with the economy opening up, people going out and stuff, it becomes even more of that anxiousness and vulnerability around safety.
That is scary. But what does that mean long-term for people that is so reliant on their phones, that can't cope without, 15 minutes or 20 minutes without having their phone in their hand?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely scary, but it's also the reality of the world that we live in. Because if you consider most people are using their phones to make an income, it's how we're connecting, it's where you get your entertainment. It's kind of that mobile-first instant gratification culture. And I think the difficulty is, how do you find moderation between I'm losing this control over my life to this phone, and I need to also do my job.
Yeah. Guy, when it comes, broadly speaking, to the subject of addiction, and probably depending on what sort of thing you are addicted to, how harmful can addiction be, or how harmful is addiction of any nature?
Yeah, that's sort of similar on a continuum as well, very much depending on the substance or the behavior that one is addicted to, that has an influence. But in general, it can be very destructive in one's life and one's relationships, and on many levels, physiologically, psychologically, environmentally, financially. And even the cell phone addiction and tech addiction, which is becoming a big thing these days, you know, it might seem odd that a relationship with a phone or technology can be that detrimental in one's life, but it can have as severe consequences as addiction to heroin or cocaine. The substance or the behavior as such is not really the issue, it's the relationship with that.
I mean, we're seeing people are cycling. Here they are on their phones, crossing the road, not looking left, not looking right, not looking left again, on their phones. Do you see? It's a real thing. And it's only when you start seeing a video like what we're seeing playing on the screen right now that you realize that most of us often do find ourselves in a state like this. And we're seeing it around us so many times that it's almost normal.
But I also find that some people are addicted to scrolling. It's not even about the content itself. It's just about like a coping mechanism. So a lot of people is using this way just to like forget what they're going through. If they're anxious, like let me just see what is happening in someone else's life. I'm sure this is something you've seen in the study as well.
100%. I think, not even I think, because I do know. But essentially, most people are using this for social media.
Yeah.
So instant messaging, and then your apps like Instagram, Twitter, etc., which are apps where we know it is a scrolling culture.
Yes.
Sometimes you find yourself not even really picking up everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Just, and if you've seen what Instagram has done on the algorithm, where there isn't even a scroll more, like a go to more.
Yeah.
You just keep going. 100%.
Yeah. Guy, this is a very interesting one for me, is that knowing that these are the times we live in, how we connect with our loved ones and those around us in our work and our world, does typically happen on our mobile devices, for example. The dependency on these mobile devices that we use seems so normal and so critical today. Can we then really say it's addiction if we're really just living in the times?
That's a very important question. So one has to make a difference between use, problematic use, and addiction. So addiction normally refers to the extreme end of the continuum for people. So just because you spend a lot of time on your phone doesn't mean you're necessarily addicted to it. It depends how much loss of control there is and also how much damages there are. So if it's really damaging your life, then you're moving into the addictive realm. But if it's problematic, you know, you're not necessarily addicted to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the problem is when you're not able to connect with people in real life anymore, when you don't find joy in going out and spending time with the people that you used to, because you'd rather be looking at them on the screen, right?
Well, please do weigh in. Addiction is the topic for today. We'd love to hear from you. That WhatsApp line is 063-408-8863. We'd love to connect with you.
Oh, well, listen, how's this? Instead of checking your phone first thing in the morning, why not whip up a delicious breakfast? And if you're looking for sensational breakfast to kickstart your day, look no further, because our Fruits of the Forest breakfast domes will do just the trick. And we have the content creator around @vegan_attempts, Nondamiso, in studio to show us exactly how to make these delicious domes.
Yes. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start off with some muesli, which obviously, don't you just love muesli?
I love muesli, and for me, especially if you make your own muesli, every bite needs to be different.
I like that.
So you have to play around with all of your ingredients.
Yeah. So we've added some coconut oil, which we also love. I love the taste of coconut oil, and some honey as well as some eggs. Now, of course, if you're plant-based, you could always use an egg substitute, like I always say. It's always a great option. Okay.
And then what would you substitute your honey for if you're vegan?
Like something like maple syrup could work. Yeah, and for the egg, you could use flax egg or something like that. Okay. So we've mixed our muesli and our coconut oil in nicely there, and then we are going to just flour our surface, and we're going to transfer this onto the top here and
Really
lay it
just
out,
press
it flat. And then we are going to use our cutter here to basically, to create little domes, which we're then going to press into the mold. Into the mold. Yeah, so we're going to try and make some cylinder shapes.
Okay, fantastic. Now, I have got some that are ready here. How do we set them? Do we put it in the fridge? Do we pop it in the oven for a little bit?
Pop it in the oven for about 15 minutes and bake them until they're golden brown. And then you're going to help me just to fill them up there with some trail mix. So you're going to add some of our trail mix.
Got some mix there. And, of course, we're also using our Clover Fruits of the Forest.
Yes.
And this is our Fruits of the Forest dairy snack, which has a creamy taste with crunchy fruit, and you can also use any flavor for your filling. And we are going for the cereal mix with oats, granola, and sunflower seeds. So I'm just going to use a little bit.
Yes, just a little.
Just a touch. Oh, I love the smell of this.
Yeah. It is
adding
beautiful.
it to...
Yeah. Okay. And then you want to add some of that trail mix, and of course, then we're going to freeze it and just to set.
Oh,
okay.
Look at that. Okay, so you just need little bits of everything, little bit of this, just to add a little bit of extra crunch, some nuts, some sweetness, some dried fruit, and then we close it up like that.
Oh, yeah, so then we put it in the fridge to set, and...
I almost feel like it needs a little bit more of our dairy snack, our fruits and forest, just a little bit.
That could never hurt.
Sandwich it in.
It could never hurt.
There we go. These are like little breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah, right? And they're so convenient, right? So once you've frozen them, they've set, you can just grab them in the morning and have a little nice breakfast bite to eat.
And you know what? This is going to be so fun for the kids. It's going to feel like a little treat for breakfast. I love this recipe, and if you would love to get your hands on it, it is available on our website, expressoshow.com. And it's also a great, when it comes to our fruits of the forest, it's a great source of 10 vitamins, and fruits of the forest with cereal is a great for those morning commutes to work. It really is simply ready to enjoy anywhere because it is a dairy snack. And like Nondamiso showed us, there we go, a yummy, yummy breakfast dome. Are you keen for some breakfast?
I'm going to have ones that are pretty prepared.
Okay, you're going to have those ones. I'm going to take this one.
You're going to try one that's
the freshly made one.
And cold, this one, so nice and cool.
Okay, cheers.
Okay. Oh, look, he's spinning.
Listen.
It's so
Be
good.
careful. It tastes good though.
It tastes really good.
Just makes a mess. I love
Well,
the
then you know you're really enjoying your food, eh? You're really good.
Fruits of the forest from Clover just added real cereal crunch. A symphony of fruit, oats, seeds, and granola crunch. Fruits of the forest. Real fruit, real cereal, real taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Christmas comes early on Expresso as Golden Cloud and Beacon search for South Africa's best friends baking duo. You and a friend stand a chance to win the grand prize worth 50,000 Rand in the ultimate Christmas in July bake-off. To enter the challenge, create your bake with Golden Cloud and Beacon. Share your photo of the bake on the Golden Baker Search Christmas in July edition competition post on the Expresso Facebook or Twitter pages, or WhatsApp line on 063 814 2300 using hashtag Golden Baker Search. And tell us why you are SA's best baking duo and why you think your creation is the best. You could be one of the 5 finalists competing live on Expresso for the grand prize worth 50,000 Rand. The winning duo to be crowned live on Expresso this July. Brought to you by Golden Cloud and Beacon. Entries close on the 17th of July. Details and T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show here on S3, and today we're discussing and continuing our discussion on addiction this morning. And we have mobile solution specialist Matabo Sehonyana and addiction counselor Guy Duplessis. Now, do you suffer from any addictions? We'd love to hear from you, so please do share your WhatsApp voice notes to that number 063 408 8863. And we actually have one that came through right now, and this one is from Clive. Take a listen.
Morning, guys. My name's Clive. So my addiction is sleeping tablets. I suffer hugely on sleeping tablets. I don't sleep at night if I don't take a sleeping tablet. Is there any advice that you guys could give me that could possibly help? I'd really, really appreciate it. Thanks for a great show and chat to you guys soon. Cheers. Bye. Clive.
Thanks very much for that, Clive. Very good question. Guy Duplessis, this one is for you. And sleeping tablets are a common one, right? That does come through a lot.
Yeah. I mean, sleeping tablets can be as a big problem as any other substance, you know, whether it's cocaine, urine, sleeping tablets. And that's a particularly difficult substance to come off as well. Sleeping tablets and sedatives, if you develop a physiological dependency on that, the withdrawals is really long and really difficult. So it seems like a, you know, lesser of a substance compared to hard drugs, but equally problematic.
And what advice then do you have for someone like Clive? What are the steps that Clive would then need to follow if he wants to, which it sounds like he does want to not depend on sleeping pills? What specialists does he see? Is it a psychological thing, or is it a combination of interventions?
Particularly with sleeping tablets, the physiological component is really important in the sense of how to successfully withdraw from that, because it's one of those substances you can't just stop compared to, you know, let's say cocaine or something. You know? So it's really important to see a qualified addiction specialist for that, and potentially work with the GP or the psychiatrist to design a sort of withdrawal protocol or detox protocol or tapering protocol, if you will.
Thank you, Guy, for answering that question. Now, we also have Zulani that weighed in on the WhatsApp. Let's take a listen.
Good morning, Expresso, my beautiful family. My name is Zolani from Philipstown in Northern Cape. The only addiction I have is the cigarettes. I want to get rid of cigarettes because I've been smoking for so many years, but I don't feel like to smoke anymore. I can't live without cigarettes. I don't know, what can I do? Please help me. Thank you very much.
Again, and I love with both callers that they're admitting to that. They're admitting that they have a problem and it's something they want to deal with. So how do they deal with, again, in Zolani's case, how does he get rid of it? Because he says that he wants to stop smoking.
Yeah. There's various smoking cessation programs. So I think very often smoking isn't placed in the, I mean, it's addiction, yeah, but it's not placed in the same category as normal substance abuse, even though it is a substance and one is abusing it. And the intervention, I think, is quite different to, let's say, you know, other substances. So there are specific stopping smoking programs, and if it's another addiction, there's specific programs for that. There's many online programs available for stopping smoking. There's a lot of free help available for that. So I would suggest that he sees, you know, somebody that specializes in smoking cessation, or an online program that deals with that.
Tap into the various available resources out there, and I think it starts with really just tapping into checking and reading up on it, reading up on why one can become so dependent, and then getting in touch with all those various authorities or organizations. We know that we've established from this conversation that addiction by its nature can be crippling to one sort of normal flow of life. Let's talk to this, Matabo, the addiction to phones, very much a 21st century issue. What do you think is driving this dependency that we have to our mobile phones or our mobile devices, whether it was phones or tablets, whatever the case may be?
I think it's really about this kind of instant gratification culture. We want it, and we want it now. So obviously with the rise of social media and all of those things, your news, you get, you know, at a click of a button.
Yeah.
Your entertainment, that's where you connect with your family. Everything is right there for you. And kind of getting used to that, I think, is what leads to this kind of high level of dependency.
But how do we then curb this? Because, I mean, as you're saying, it is our lifestyle now. This is what we have to do. This is for our phone. Whether you're an influencer, whether you're working, we are dependent on our phones. It's not going away. So how do we then curb this and change the stats?
I think from my end, what I would say, or what I preach even to myself, is moderation. I don't think it's realistic for us to think people aren't going to use their phones a lot, just because of the nature of our society and our post-COVID world. But I do think you can start to teach yourself good behaviors.
Yes.
So starting to differentiate between the purpose for which you're using your phone. how much you're using your phone. I know on Apple, for example, every week it gives you how much screen time you've had that week, starting to...
So that's what your phone health, is that what it's called?
Yes.
Usage health or something like that?
And I am down 8% this week.
From what?
No.
Down 8% from 20 or down 8?
No. She's reducing it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I love this. Thank you so much, Guy. Thank you very much, Matabo, for really, I think, opening us up to understanding that, you know, it is and can be addictive behavior, but that there are ways to find the balance, right? Because, like we say, phones are going absolutely nowhere. You would be lying to yourself to think that we're not going to be using them. If you think people are using their phones a lot today, trust me, they'll be using them a lot more in a year's time than what you're seeing today. It's really finding health in all of that. Send those voice notes, 063-408-8863 with your questions, your advice, or even your own personal experiences, and our panel will be here to answer.
Oh, thank you, team. Really looking forward to delving back into that conversation. But let's focus, seeing as we are turning our attention to health, to those working on the front lines every single day. And I think you guys know by now, every Tuesday we bring you the Pharmacy of the Week, which is just a short feature, our way of acknowledging those incredible frontline workers.
That's right. And it's our way to say thank you to these brave healthcare workers. Proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. And this week we are heading to the Pharmacy of the Week. It is Mackenzie Pharmacy in Benoni.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
This is a very close-knit community, and by serving them, we manage to help their needs, allay their fears, and see that their health needs and emotional needs are met. So it's not just a retail shop, it's very much a family and a community-run business. Being brave is being scared, but showing up anyway, and especially in the beginning with COVID, that was it. When everyone was at home, we were the ones on duty. It was scary for all of us. Just the fact that they come back and they greet me by name and ask for me by name, that is an indication that there's definitely a connection, and there wouldn't be a connection if we didn't have a service of the highest level.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Are cold and flu symptoms disrupting your day? Adcock Ingram self-medication offers relief, available without prescription. Adcock Ingram OTC, adding value to life.
Thank you so much to all of those, as we call them every day, frontline workers out of the Mackenzie Pharmacy in Benoni. We really do appreciate you.
We do.
Add a little sunshine. Everflu C Immune Booster Plus, now with vitamin D. Brought to you by Pharmadynamics.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show. It is Expresso. We're deep in conversation. We're chatting about addiction this morning with some insights into the different types of addictions and how people can be affected by their own addictions. Now, mobile solution specialist Matabo Sikhonyana and addiction counselor Uncle Guy du Plessis have been with us all morning to discuss this topic and how it affects our mental health in general, because you do find there's a strong correlation and a connection there. Do you suffer from any addictions? Please do share with us on WhatsApp. Send that voice note to 063-408-8863. Thanks for staying with us.
I guess you asked a question there. Guy, how does addiction affect our mental health?
On many levels. I think one of the main problems is it disconnects you from the world and your relationships. So, you know, our mental health is very much dependent on the quality of our relationships to a large extent. So the more our relationships suffer, the more negative effect that's going to have on our mental health and your capacity to self-regulate, self-esteem. You know, I mean, there's just so many levels that it affects it seriously.
Yeah. Matabo, after completing that study, which really has come through with some incredible insights, how do you think we can take the findings from that and really use them to better operate in our relationships with our mobile devices and our relationships with those around us who may be addicted to their phones?
I think, again, acceptance is maybe the first step. So trying to really figure out, do you have this problem and is it a negative impact is the first part. Number two, I think that there are signs that are very clear. So
what are they?
Yeah, so for example, you know, sleeping with your phone at night. 85% of people going to the loo with their phone.
Ooh.
You know, when we saw those videos on screen, you can't even just walk across the road without your phone. And I think that thing of feeling like you instantly need to be responding to messages, these are all signs that there may be a overuse of your phone or a misuse of your phone. I like what Uncle Guy was saying just now.
Uncle Guy. That's
around
the main one, eh?
Yeah, that is the main one now. I like what he was saying when he was referring to, you know, that kind of self-esteem, dissociation, etc. I think with phone use, it's not super cut and dry because there are obviously positive elements. That thing of being able to connect to a broader world, that thing of being able to connect with a global audience or creating safe spaces online, etc. But then you look at those issues around self-esteem. You look at those issues around people finding their validation from things that are happening on their phone from strangers more than from people who actually matter or know about them, or know them or care about them. And those are, you know, the little nuances that you have to be so careful of.
In terms of addiction, just overall, what is the first step to overcoming this? I mean, early on we spoke about admitting to it, understanding that you do have a problem, but then what is the next step? If there's any of our listeners and our viewers listening at night saying, you know what, I think I have an addiction, not just to phone, but to substances, what would be the next step for them?
Yeah, as you mentioned, the first step would be to acknowledge that there is a problem. And even before that step, there's a process. So a lot of times people aren't sure whether they have addiction or not. So I think before acknowledgement, the first step is to speak to somebody or to do some assessment to first see, is there a problem? And once you've identified a problem, is to see the right person for that or the support group. I mean, fortunately, in the world of addiction treatment, you have 12-step meetings and social support systems that are free as well. So it's not always that you have to pay a therapist or go into a treatment center. There's a lot of free resources available as well. But it starts by accepting that there is an issue and then reaching out for help. Because the nature of addiction is you can't do it yourself. So you need to reach out. So that's a very important next step to take is no, you can't do it on your own.
We've got a WhatsApp voice note that's come through from Lynn Ann. Lynn Ann, what have you got to say?
Hi, good morning. I'm Lynn Ann. I'm addicted to smoking this type of pipe since 2 years old. I really like to stop, but I don't know how, and I'm 18 years old now.
Wow. 16 years of smoking a pipe. How can we assist Lynn Ann?
Similar to with other addictions, is acknowledge that and then seek for the right help. And, you know, unfortunately, addiction treatment can also be very expensive, so it very much depends on one's resources. So there's a continuum of how much it would cost, what your resources are, and what you can afford. Like I said, fortunately, there are free help available as well. It's support.
Are younger people of Lynn Ann's age, for example, so say 16 to 18 or 21, more susceptible to addiction that sticks longer than, let's say, an older person, one might assume, would be able to control it better? Or is there no real discrimination in terms of age when it comes to addiction and addictive behaviors?
Important question, particularly with the cell phone issues. The younger you are, the more vulnerable you are to addiction, because your brain hasn't fully developed. You know, with teenagers, there's a lot of egocentricity and elements of risk-taking. So they're more prone to doing things that could potentially become addictive. And like I said, their brains aren't fully developed, not enough self-regulation, capacity to control themselves. So if you start using substances very young, there's more of a chance of you getting addicted to it than if you would when you started when you were older. And the same as with social media and tech. You know, it's like exposing your brain to cocaine when you're 12 years old would be considered obviously a negative thing. But exposing your brain to social media and technology at that level is a similar risk, you know, because social media and technology can be addictive. So it's really important, I think, for parents and younger people to be aware that kids are in a vulnerable position, and they're more prone to become addicted to technology and social media than, let's say, an adult would. Even though it is, you know, addictive to adults as well.
Guy, Matoba, thank you so much for joining us this morning on a very, very important topic, addiction. I think one thing we can take away from it is that in some way or another, we all have some sort of addictive personality, but you are not alone. There are groups out there to assist you with this if you do have addiction, but we, of course, do want to keep the conversation going. So if you do still want to weigh in, that number is 063-408-8863. We'd love to hear from you.
Now, if you're looking for a nice, healthy coping mechanism, find something that you love to do instead of sitting on your phone for an hour. Why not make your favorite treat to enjoy with your friends and especially for your kiddies?
Yes, bring the family. 100%. Your cousin's coming over. Get the crush and I'll get the ice.
The whole family.
More crush, Mom?
100% refreshing, 100% goodness.
Made with love by Clover.
So I know this as a parent, snacking can be a little bit of a challenge, a bit tricky when trying to keep the kids happy, but with the goodness of Crush, it has become a lot easier, I have to admit. Not only does it come with that 100% refreshment, but it also is packed with vitamin A, C, and D, excuse me, to support your health, that immune system, which is so important. And the best part, it's the perfect pairing for anything, including these, Parmesan popovers.
Yes.
Yum.
Yes.
So this sounds exciting. I love this because it's jam-packed full of flavor. There's a lot of nutrients in there. It's relatively simple, and this kind of expands their culinary journey a little bit. It's not just pop it in the oven, give it to them. This has got some flavor kind of nuances going on there that are quite advanced, which I love. So what is going on in the bowl?
Okay, so we are whisking some egg, and then we're going to add some milk and whisk that as well. If you could please help me there by pouring out delicious crushed juice, of course. And then when you're done, you could please just coat the tray with some butter. Okay, so once we've whisked the egg and the milk, I'm going to add in the flour, whisk that, and then we're going to add some thyme. This is good because it's savory, hey?
I love that, and thyme just lends itself to this flavor profile brilliantly. I noticed we've got a little bit of garlic in our butter here as well.
Yeah.
Layers upon layers.
Yes, layers upon layers of garlic. Okay, and then we've got some chives, which are also just lovely, as well as some salt and pepper to taste, as well as some garlic powder. And we're going to add half of our Parmesan cheese into this mix. Oh, it sounds delicious.
No, my mouth is watering. I love this. I love the fact that you've got that strong cheese flavor with a bit of balance. Garlic powder has, and I say this every time we use it, which is almost in every recipe that we've made this year, it has been the unsung hero.
Yes.
It is something so simple, relatively inexpensive, but you add it to almost any savory dish treat and it's going to elevate it. I love that. And I love the fact that we're echoing that with our beautiful garlic butter as well, just to kind of let that garlic flavor sing through.
Okay. Okay.
This is for you, dear. Just
Oh,
because you
thank you.
deserve it.
Just
Cheers, girl.
cool. Thank you.
Here's to the popover.
Yes, to the popover.
No, it's not every day that you get to make a popover, and of course pair it with something as delicious as this, and without a doubt you are going to get that 100% tasty, yes, and refreshing goodness in every sip from our crush, and a good dose of vitamins to help your immune system stay stronger this winter, and now's the time to do it. The best way to enjoy any meal is simply with a refreshing crush to add a dose of goodness to your day. We love it. Okay, so
halfway through,
filled.
yes,
Okay.
ramekin filled, and then we're going to bake these for about 20 to 30 minutes until they're golden brown.
Simple as that.
It's as simple as that, and you have yourself a delicious savory snack. Oh, but of course, before I forget, we actually had to top it off with more Parmesan cheese.
Yeah,
which
as much as
you can never.
Can.
Yeah. Okay.
No, for sure, and that's got, I love that, like really salty taste, so you can reduce the amount of salt that you're putting into your dishes. It's something that you've got to be aware, just like we have to watch how much salt we are taking in our kiddies, also definitely do have to do that as well.
Yes.
I love this. So you don't want to kind of go overboard with them, because there's a lot of flavor and there's a lot of nutrients jam-packed in every one. Just one is going to sustain you, but I have a feeling you're going to go back for more. I just have the sneaky suspicion.
Sneaky feeling. Yeah, and then they should come out looking something like that.
Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go and do a little bit of a taste test on that side. So a little bit of prep time, 20 to 30 minutes in the oven, and you are left with these absolutely beautiful fold-overs, and the Parmesan is going to sing.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, my word. It's kind of somewhere between, like, it feels almost like between a frittata and a muffin or a scone, a savoury scone,
muffin.
but not, it's a bit softer.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful and delicious. And, of course, paired with 100% refreshment. If you missed any of the steps of how we created our beautiful Parmesan popovers, really simple, here's how.
Made with love by Clover.
take lashes higher. New Revlon Eyes Wide Open Mascara. The curved brush volumizes and lifts lashes vertically for a wide-eyed lash look. Hemp seed oil conditions for healthy-looking lashes. Go higher. New Revlon Eyes Wide Open Mascara.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3. And this morning you had to help Jamie, because it is Tuesday, to choose the best golfer. Now, she had an option of a plain one or the option with a little bit of a stripe. Let's see what you had to say on social media. Jocelyn, in fact, let's start off with Roxanne Harding that says plain white. So that is option 1. Zelandia says number 1, it's Jamie's best look and will look very good on her. I actually think anything Jamie wears will look fantastic. Nancy says number 1, it is Lady. It seems like number 1 is leading the pack. Any other comments? Sandra Pillay says number 1, the white will look great on her. Nolwazi says plain white. Tabo says white is more appealing. And Sherazana says plain white golfer Jamie. So it seems like number 1-1. Number 1-1. There we go. Let's get the winning girl in here in her white golfer.
Thank you, Zanzi. I actually love this. I'm not mad at it at all. I did like the stripes as well, but I think that you can play around with it. I think with a chic faux leather jacket, the white sneakers, it just pairs so perfectly and completes the look for the Tuesday. So thank you so much, Zanzi.
But it completes your whole look. I mean, I'm thinking of your hair, that bold lip you're wearing, the golfer. Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. But of course, if you want to get inspired and, you know, have a look just like that, you can shop this in-store, online, or on the Woolies app. And thank you again for this look, Zanzi.
Looking absolutely stunning. Jamie Lee, beautiful, beautiful choice. Thank you so much, team, for doing that. Now, time for us to take a look at those news headlines. It's just before 7 o'clock. We start off with our national headlines. Middle Eastern airline Qatar Airways has signed an agreement with South Africa's Airlink to expand its operations in South Africa. Airlink said that the code share agreement would offer travelers more choice and improved connectivity between 45 destinations in 12 countries across Southern Africa. Travelers will be able to purchase connecting flights on both airlines using one reservation. And Qatar Airways currently offers direct flights from Doha to Johannesburg 21 times weekly, Cape Town 10 times weekly, and Durban 4 times weekly. The new code share flights will commence on the 6th of July. Staying here at home, Eskom says that there is a possibility that the stage of rolling blackouts may have to be escalated at short notice, depending on the state of the plant and the availability of labor. The blackouts moved from stage 2 to stage 4 on Friday, and this is expected to persist until tomorrow. For now, Eskom blames the unprotected industrial action at various of its power stations for the move to stage 4 blackouts, as this has impacted plant maintenance. Workers at 9 of Eskom's power stations went on strike on Friday. And now taking a look at news making headlines abroad. NATO has announced plans to massively increase the number of its forces at high readiness to more than 300,000 troops. NATO's Rapid Reaction Force currently has some 40,000 troops at its disposal. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said that the increase followed a direct threat from Russia to European security. Stoltenberg said that several NATO battle groups in Eastern Europe would be bolstered to brigade-level tactical units of several thousand troops, which he said was intended to send a clear message of deterrence to Russia. Now, some $3 billion will be invested over the next 10 years to end vaccine dependency across the continent. The African Development Bank has pledged, and the plan includes a new pharmaceutical center for research, development and manufacturing based in Rwanda's capital, Kigali. It has been widely lauded as key towards ending Africa's dependence on outside donations, as recently witnessed during the COVID-19 pandemic. The bank says it will also help patent and license African-made medicines and support governments to navigate the intellectual property rights to global vaccines and medicines. Now, all dog owners, they'll tell you this for free. They know that. They know that puppies at times can get up to much mischief. We know that. And such was the case in Yucca Valley out in California in the US, where 2 curious pups found themselves in a very peculiar pickle, okay? Fire crews rapidly responded to a public service call when 5-month-old puppies, Peo and Finn, had made their way into an underground tortoise den. And these, unfortunately, were unable to get out because, of course, course, Oscar, 45 kilograms, that's the weight. Desert Tortoise was blocking their exit, and the firefighters attempted quite a few times to really try and get Oscar from his den using a tasty watermelon treat. But ultimately, their efforts proved unsuccessfully, and then they resorted to plan B, digging. With Oscar stubbornly continuing to block the exit, and the crews worked to dig another hole to get to the puppies. But after a full hour of digging, you can imagine, lots of work there, the firefighters were able to get the puppies out of the den. Now, Peo and Finn were unharmed and were thrilled to reunite with their human mom, Kathleen. Oh, the mischief, it never ends. But that's where we leave it for now. Here's a look at what's happening on the fields and the grounds with the world of sport. And Graham.
Thanks, Tabitha. Let's kick it off with cricket this morning, and a performance of a lifetime, really. Morazan Cup's maiden Test century helped the Proteas recover from just 45 for 4 to post a competitive total on the first day of the once-off Women's Test against England in Taunton. The 32-year-old recorded the highest individual score in Proteas Women Test history with 150 of 213 balls. Incredible that as South Africa were eventually bowled out for 284. Anneke Bosch weighed in with 30, while captain Sine Lewis also chipped in with 27. England's opening bowlers did most of the damage with the ball, with Kate Cross taking 4 for 63 and Lauren Bell 2 for 47. Then on to the men's game, but staying in that same neck of the woods, England romped to victory on the final day of that third test against New Zealand at Headingley to seal a stunning 3-0 series win yesterday. So the hosts scored the 113 runs needed to complete their chase of 296 in only 65 minutes as they won by 7 wickets. And after rain had delayed the start of play, England lost Ollie Pope for 82 in the first over, but Johnny Bairstow and Joe Root banished any nerves with a dominant unbroken stand of 111. Root finishing unbeaten on 86, while Bairstow smashed a whirlwind 71 not out from just 44 balls. England also became the first team to successfully pursue more than 250 in that chase in 3 tests in a row, after chasing 277 in the first, 299 in the second test, and now 296 yesterday. And plenty to get excited about on the rugby front as the Springboks are back in action. But sadly, they will face Wales without the services of former World Rugby Player of the Year, Pieter-Steph du Toit, who will be missing that first test on Saturday through injury. So du Toit had a shoulder operation a few months ago and hasn't completed his rehab, even though he is with the Springboks at the moment, with assistant coach Dion Davids revealing that he'll only be considered for the second test against Wales in Bloemfontein. Du Toit can only start contact training from Thursday this week, which is too late to render him eligible for selection this weekend, with the team set to be announced later today. We'll certainly watch with much anticipation. Then on to tennis, all eyes on the grass courts of Wimbledon once again, and defending champion Novak Djokovic. He overcame a scare to notch up his 80th Wimbledon win yesterday with a 4-sets victory over Kwon Soon Woo of South Korea. The 6-time champion Djokovic triumphed 6-3, 3-6 and 6-3 and 6-4 under the centre court roof. The world #1 becoming the first player, man or woman, to record 80 singles wins at all 4 Grand Slam tournaments. And I have a feeling those milestones are going to continue to fall in this golden age of tennis we're experiencing. Then Spanish teenager Carlos Alcaraz came back from 2 sets down to beat Leonard Struff 4-6, 7-5, 4-6, 7-6 and 6-4 in a titanic battle. Then in the women's draw, Tunisian third seed Ons Jabeur, having a stellar year, proved just too strong for Mirjam Bortland, sweeping past the qualifier 6-1 and 6-3, while home favourite Emma Raducanu, she beat Alison van Eytvank 6-4 and 6-4 to continue her charge. Well, we'll continue our charge with those sporting headlines in about an hour or so, but right now, if you're about to hit the roads, let's see what the traffic is looking like and see if we can keep you out of harm's way.
Thank you so much, G. Let us see what is happening on the road this morning. In the Western Cape Tableview, there is congestion at multiple junctions in the Tableview and Parklands area until 8:30 a.m. Now, this is, of course, due to load shedding and traffic lights not working. Please be patient on the roads this morning. Then in the Gauteng-Randburg area on the N1 southbound, there has been an accident after Beyersnodie Drive. One lane is currently blocked, so please do allow for extra travel time and approach with caution. In the KZN Westville area as well, on the N2 northbound, there is a stationary vehicle before the EB Kluti interchange. Now, the left lane is currently blocked and heavy delays can be expected. Well, that is where I leave your traffic. Let's have another look at the weather. On the environmental news front this morning, a new type of plastic made directly from organic plant waste has been created by scientists. Now, the new material is easy to make and could be used in everything from packaging and textiles to medicine and electronics. Conventional plastic is so widespread because making it combines low cost, heat stability, mechanical strength, as well as compatibility, the scientists have said. Now, to make the plastic, scientists cooked wood and other non-edible plant materials in inexpensive chemicals to make a plastic precursor. The sugar structure stays intact within the molecular structure of the plastic, making the chemistry much cheaper than other types of alternative plastic. Now, using this simple technique, they could convert up to a quarter of the weight of agricultural waste into plastic. It has very exciting properties, notably for applications like food packaging. Professor Jeremy Lutterbacher of the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, who created the plastic, said. Now, the findings were published in the journal Nature Chemistry. Then from environmental news, we move on to those sunrise views that are shared by you, our lovely viewers, via our WhatsApp line. Now, we have Karen Westmead from Durban, who started her day staring at this cloud-filled sky with the sun slowly but surely creeping through the cloud cover. We also have Jessica Joshua from Kales River, who captured this incredible shot of the sky lighting up with a bright pink hue. We also have Lajith Maharaj from Sea Tides, who woke up extra early to capture this bold sunrise with a red hue lighting up her area. And then we also have Rashida Dolly from Kabeja, who shared this picturesque shot of the thick cloud cover in her area with the sun breaking through and creating a red glow. Remember, if you want to be featured, we'd love to see it, so please do share it on Expresso's Facebook page. But that being said, here is your 7 o'clock weather update with regards to those temperatures. If you're out and about in Polokwane, do expect a low of 5. That will peak at 15. For you in Mbombela, rain is coming your way, ranging from 11 to 19, and then for you, Pretoria, your minimum is 5 with a maximum of 17. Johannesburg, if you're out and about, partly cloudy conditions are expected, ranging from 3 to 15, and Mahikeng, for you, it is a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 17. Klerksdorp, for you, it is your low is 0 with a high of 17, as well as Kimberley, you can be seen with a low of 0, peaking at 17 today. Bloemfontein, if you're out and about, your minimum is -3 with a maximum of 17. Richards Bay can be seen with a range of 10 to 22, as well as for you, Pietermaritzburg, do expect a range of 5 to 22 today. South Africa's playground, Durban, ranging from 12 to 22. Tata can expect a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 23, as well as for you, East London, ranging from 12 to 23 on this Tuesday. Cradock starting off the day with 0 and will peak at 20. GQ Kabeja, for you, it is 8:23, and George can be seen with a range of 11 to 23. If you find yourself in the mother city, Cape Town, today, do expect a low of 14 and a high of 24. Worcester, for you, it is 10:25. Sutherland, 2:17. And last but definitely not least, Uppington, ranging from 5 to 22. Well, that is where I leave your 7 a.m. weather update here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Thank you very much, Jamie Lee Domberg. Looking good. Good choice on the outfit there. But listen, lots more feel good coming your way on this beautiful Tuesday morning here on S3. We've got Marcia Bothma here in the house with a band so incredible. They're going to be giving us a musical treat and chatting about her recent selection in a stunning music competition.
Oh, how exciting. And of course, we want to unpack a little bit more and look after your mental health. And it's all about understanding and asking, how did you survive burnout? If you would love to contribute to that conversation, we would love to hear your voice. Please send us a voice note to our WhatsApp number. That number is 063 408 8863. We will be unpacking that between now and 9 o'clock.
Fantastic. So you know what to do now. Keep it tightly locked here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We will see you in just a bit.
Your generosity can ignite a love for reading amongst our youth. Share your homegrown story. See Cadbury Story Edition packs. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, welcome back, beautiful souls. It's your Feel Good Breakfast show, and as parents and adults, we tend to forget how much energy a child actually needs to get through their day sufficiently. Now, with their busy schedule, it is so important for them to load their bodies with good energy, and that is for them to obviously perform every single day. Now, today we are welcoming dietitian Anne-Marie de Beer, who will be discussing why it is so important for our children to have the right kind of energy for their day. Anne-Marie, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good, thank you, and it's really lovely to be here.
Yeah, it's always good having you, especially someone with such wise words of advice for us, and obviously being able to educate us as well. But let's just talk about the kids. Why is it that they need so much energy?
So it's actually quite interesting, and I think one really needs to understand that when children are growing, they need energy 24 hours a day. And unlike us, who's now older and probably outgrown already, we need energy just to survive and to live and to do things, whereas kids need this extra energy because they are still growing. So they need it throughout the day. We can't just give it to them in the morning or in the evening and hope it's going to be sufficient, because it doesn't work that way. They need short bursts the whole day long.
Right throughout that day. And I was looking at a crazy stat, and this does seem to be plausible, because I've seen some kids out there that have a lot of energy. And looking at the statistics right now, it says that children can exert the same amount of energy that you would to complete a half marathon. That's crazy. And they're doing that every day. Is that correct?
That's more or less correct, but we need to see it within context.
Okay.
So a half marathon, you're probably going to need, if it's 13 kilometers or so, probably about 1,100, 1,300 kilocalories.
Yeah.
And a child then, when we look at their energy requirements, we work at on their kilograms, so on the weight that they have. So if a child of about 6 or 7 needs anything between 60 to 65 kilocalories per kilogram, then it works out to around 1,500 calories that they need in a day. So, and this is important for the marathon. You only need it for that, or you're burning that
time.
for that period. But the kids need it for the 24 hours.
I got you.
So we just need to be mindful of the fact that although they need a lot of energy, we mustn't give them too much, because we also have a problem of overweight in our country. So it's about the kind of energy that they're having, the kind of nutrients that they have. We talk about empty calories. Empty calories is not good for our children.
We want quality over quantity.
We want quality.
So let's talk about that. Let's be practical with this. How can we give our kids enough energy to sustain them throughout the day?
So I think the first thing, and probably the most important one, is breakfast.
Okay.
For me, I think
first meal of the day, it's important.
First meal of the day. We also need to think about what breakfast means. It's about breaking the fast. So for 8 hours, probably sometimes longer, the kids haven't eaten anything. And I've mentioned earlier on that they are still growing, even when they're sleeping. So they are spending and using quite a bit of energy. So they will wake up in the morning, normally with low energy levels. So that's why breakfast is critical, because once they get into the school environment, now they have to learn, they have to play, they have to engage, they have to socialize. Then food is really second priority. So we need to really help them to be able to manage all those things throughout the day by starting with an excellent breakfast.
Fueling the adventure, fueling the memory-making magic, and all the crazy stuff that they do in the day. So when it comes to certain types of foods, then, in order to tick that box and provide that sustained energy, what sort of foods can you include in your child's lifestyle just to kind of make that box a big tick?
So I think our food-based dietary guidelines that we have in South Africa is really a good way of looking at what we need. We need high-fiber foods. And when I talk high-fiber, it doesn't have to be all bran. It could be a brown bread sandwich instead of just white bread or refined carbohydrates. So make sure that what we give them is substantial. So it's about carbohydrates are very important for our children and for adults, by the way.
That's where all the energy is coming from, yeah?
That's where our energy is coming from. But apart from the energy, we also get our vitamins from there.
Of course.
So grains is a very good source of B vitamins, by example. And even if you look at Milo, that's a source of B vitamins, is because of the carbohydrates that we have there in the form of malt. So that's important. Then the importance of protein is still there, because we need the proteins to grow. And then, of course, vitamins and minerals we need. So it's really a combination of things that we need in the morning. And to exclude any food group from the breakfast is never a good idea. And in fact, for the day,
So it's complete balance, micronutrients, macronutrients, ticking all those boxes and making sure that the child's energized. You mentioned one thing in that conversation right now, and that was on malt, which I see is something that's become very popular, but also it's a big ingredient in Nestlé's Milo, right? What is it exactly that is making this such an important ingredient?
So malt is a very interesting ingredient, you know, one of these ancient ingredients and ancient grains that we've been talking about for, I think at the moment,
the
very
buzzword.
much. Yes, exactly. But the way that we use the malt, it actually gets germinated and fermented, and then with the nutrients that we add in terms of the Milo Active Go, which is really the micronutrients, the vitamins and the minerals that we add, the malt itself actually also helps with sustained energy release. So it's preventing us from having those peaks and then the lows. And if we think about children, what we really want for them is to have a sustained energy throughout the day. Now, I have to also just mention here that it's not replacing anything else that the children are eating. This is really Milo Active Go is really just there to provide the nutritional beverage, if you want. So instead of having other drinks, Milo is really fulfilling that space and adding more nutrients, and it's not just empty calories.
I love that. And I'm just thinking of my childhood past. I was a scrawny kid. I had some joint health issues as well. And I remember the doctor specifically prescribing it almost as a medicine. It was malt and cod liver oil. And it was very, very important that I took that. And I still remember to this day how important malt is. And as an athlete now, I still incorporate it in my diet because I think it is exactly that. So, Anna-Marie, thank you so much for educating me and the rest of Mzansi as well, especially when it comes to fueling correctly. And when it comes to our kids and what they're doing in the entire day, you never want them to crash. You want to keep that experience lasting forever. And I think that box has definitely been ticked by Nestlé. So with your information, I think we're in good hands. And I want to thank you again for being in the studio. You've been a breath of fresh air and of good nutrition too.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Absolutely love it. Now for you, Mzansi, whether you like yours hot or whether you like yours cold, malt, cocoa, milk, it's just delicious. And what a way to start your day. Now remember, you can win your very own Sportsman's Warehouse Trolley Dash, and that is worth 20,000 Rand for both you and your school. How awesome is that? Now, all you have to do is buy a tin of Nestlé Milo and enter the competition by following the instructions. And don't forget the T's and C's do apply, and they can be found on their website. So remember to also keep an eye out for the Nestlé Milo. It's go time, because teams are at your local shopping center. So with all that multi goodness, all the nutritional love, I say cheers to you. Cheers, Anna-Marie.
Thank you.
It's still as good as day one. Love it.
It's go time with a cup of Nestlé Milo at breakfast. Give your kids the energy to go further.
Milo! Milo!
Oh, thank you so much, Nature Boy, for that conversation. Now, we all know being stressed, overworked, and having super packed schedules can all contribute to cognitive overload, leaving you feeling emotionally drained and easily overwhelmed. In other words, burnout. Now, in addition to giving you relief from short-term mental exhaustion, exercise done regularly can also help tone these cognitive processes over time. Now, here to take us through some of these exercises, personal trainer, the tallest man ever, Mr. Heinrich Persson. So stop what you're doing right now, leave the school lunch boxes for now, take a break and join us in this workout. You have no excuse to get off the couches and join us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
We're good, we're good. How are you doing, all right?
I'm good. I was just telling everyone now it's been a minute that I've been back at training. I've been off with the flu, so it's good to be back, and I believe you have a nice little flow workout to get us back into shape and get us back into a nice flow.
Yeah, I mean, the whole principle for today's theme is obviously the burnt out factor. And I mean, one of the main reasons for getting burnt out generally is also because of a lack of changing things up. It's one of the big, I want to say, causes, apart from, numerous other factors. So with that being said, it blends in quite nicely. We're going to have a look at a few different things over the course of the morning, but for now, we'll get into a nice flow kind of, I want to say, get you out of bed, get moving, get loose, get supple, and get into the groove.
There we go. Get into the groove right now. So what do we have for the first step?
So the whole aim is to just kind of get around to the whole body. So we're going to take it one step at a time. So we're going to go into our intro and we're walking our way down, keeping the legs nice and straight, keep the core engaged, body as still as possible. So you're walking down, nice and easy, get all the way to horizontal. Once you're horizontal, check yourself just that everything is in the right place, hands underneath the shoulders. And again, walking our way back up, keeping the legs nice and straight, all the way to standing. Nice and simple. Yeah, we'll do one more. Down we go, just nice and flow, all the way to horizontal. Check, back up, all the way to standing. So our next movement, we're going to actually do another inchworm to get into position, and then it's going to be our crisscross toe touches, so kind of pike movements. The important thing here, again, don't rush the movement. So let's just walk our way down from
Nice
here.
and controlled.
We're going to go opposite hand, opposite foot. So your legs stay straight and extended. The glutes go up to the ceiling. So right hand, left foot, up, try and reach. Get back to horizontal, very important. Switch it up. Couple more, just one more per side. And one more.
And this must be so easy for you because your arms are quite long, so you can touch your toes if you wanted to. Like, it's a
Exactly.
struggle for us short people because we're like, where's my toe?
It has its pros and cons, I'm not going to lie.
Definitely a pro for that one.
Next up, this is where my con comes in with the push-up now, so I've got to go a little bit lower. So with that being said, the push-up itself, you can do it on the knees or off the knees, it really doesn't matter. So just nice and controlled once again. So as we are on the push-up, again, it doesn't matter whether the knees are down or not, the hips stay extended, and we're going to drop down, all the way up, and a nice full extension. So down, up, full extension, one more, down, up, full extension.
It's so funny that we're just
Release.
marking this, and already I'm feeling the burn, I'm sweating already, and we're just marking this.
Exactly. Next up, we got I want to say a bit of a twisting sensation. So we're going to be in sort of all fours position again, this time knees off the floor. You're going to go from there, opposite knee, opposite hand, but now the knee bends towards us and we're meeting halfway. So we're going touch, in, boom, boom, one more,
and one more.
and recover.
I love this flow.
From there, we're going to go up all the way to standing. And then as we stood up, just nice, one small movement. We're going to do 2 reps. So you're going arms just flaring wide. So up, and then other side, and recover. Okay, ready to put all of that together?
Yes, and I think that even if you played around with a nice song, it's definitely something that will get you out of bed. So Mzansi, again, no excuses. You can follow along with this flow right now. We're going to start from the top.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to do 1 inchworm down and then move into our movement. So just bear with me. So inchworm down. From there, we're going to go crisscross toe touch, pike, boom, level, pike, boom, level. From there, push up. From there, you still got it?
Yes, we got it.
Opposite, touch, touch, walk our way up, and then all the way, finishing with a star jump. Okay, want to do one more flow?
Yeah, one more
Let's
flow.
get it done.
And then how long would you recommend people
So again, this is nice, and you can break all of these things up. You can do it as one flow as we did it. You can literally break each movement up, and you can do between 8 to 10 reps of every single movement itself as well. If you're doing it together, push for 10. Yeah, easy work. Let's get it done.
Okay, last flow, here we go.
Walking down,
Down.
pike toe touch, touch, level, touch. From there, push up. From there, knee touch, up
All
we
the way
go.
up.
And then all the way finishing.
And there we go. Now, I believe this is only the beginning. We're
That's
only
only the
getting
beginning.
started. You have another workout for us. But I feel like we did crush this first workout, and we do deserve one of these. So apple juice or 6 fruits of carrots.
Any, mini, money. Wow.
There we go.
There we go.
So 100% is not going anywhere. We still have one more workout, a bit more intense. So again, grab your towel if you want to, grab your mat, and we're gonna crush the rest of this morning. Cheers to you. Open. Here we go. Cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
What's beta glucan? Hello, do you know what beta glucan is? What is beta glucan? No one knows what beta glucan is.
Beta glucan is a natural fiber in jungle oats that helps lower cholesterol and keep hearts well.
Jungle, do life with heart.
Take lashes higher. New Revlon Eyes Wide Open Mascara. The curved brush volumizes and lifts lashes vertically for a wide-eyed lash look. Hemp seed oil conditions for healthy-looking lashes. Go higher. New Revlon Eyes Wide Open Mascara.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show. And it might be a chilly one this morning, but our next artist's spirit is guaranteed to warm every inch of your heart. Singer-songwriter Marcia Bothma is the definition of variety. From her contribution to EKC worship, boasting multiple qualifications from Stellies, as well as being a top 12 finalist at the Artia Coffee Crescendo mentorship program, which is absolutely incredible. But let's hear the talents of this remarkable young songstress from her.
I'm coming. I'm coming up. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. There's a new me coming out, and I just have to live. And I want to give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around, I'm just gonna do it like you never knew it. No, I'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out of the shell.
Yay, ladies and gentlemen, please give a very big feel-good welcome to Marcia Bothma. Welcome to the show. Welcome, 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 you wonderful breath of fresh air. We obviously love you, the people love you, and your industry loves you at the moment. It feels like this is your time, but I got to start with the nuptials because we joined the club, yo. Okay, yours is a little bit more shiny than mine, all right? Congratulations on the wedding. Do you feel different?
I feel different. I feel like I've joined the other side, like some sort of a new world that I've stepped into, but it's been a great journey so far.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, you're no stranger to Expresso. You've been here on our Monday, Worship Mondays, and sadly, one of your leaders have recently passed. This is Sergio Brandt. How do you honor his spirit through your music and your talent?
So it's been really challenging losing someone of that caliber, I'd say. He lives by something where he says, we do it, we get to do this, and we get to worship God, we get to sing, we get to write songs and create. And I think that's how we keep him in our hearts, and we honor God through giving him the praise, but also remembering what Sergio was to us. He's been a funny guy, he's been a personal person, but he's also been so amazing. He's been a miracle on earth, and he's really inspired me to dream and to keep going forward. Yeah.
Now you almost have a responsibility
yes.
to make you good, which is fantastic. And I hope that the music has given you at least a tool to be able to deal with that loss. But we're sending you and your community, your family, as much love as we possibly can. So we really do feel your loss there. Okay, let me give this a crack, okay?
Yes.
Top 12 in the Artia Coffee Crescendo mentorship program, hey?
Yes,
not bad.
you did it. Well done.
So I made her do the intro earlier. But this does kind of feel like it's not just your fans that are loving the music, it means your industry is backing you.
Yeah.
What does it mean to your career? And someone who is as professional and seems to want to have the degrees, wants to have the education, wants to have that metal behind her, what does this platform mean to you? How important is it?
You know, when I was 16 years old, I told myself, I'm going to make it. I'm not going to become a statistic. I'm not going to be like everybody else, but I want to make a change and I want to make a difference. And this mentorship program has really taught me such valuable lessons. It's guided me in singing, it's guided me in writing, it's guided me in being a person. And meeting everybody on that platform has been such an amazing, beautiful journey. So I'm really grateful for the Artia Coffee Crescendo mentorship program for helping me and guiding me along the way. So it's really been so amazing. So.
It's paying dividends. We see it every time you perform.
Yeah.
We see.
Yes.
And how do you feel you're putting your own stamp onto the Afrikaans music scene?
Yeah, so for me, Afrikaans was a bit of a struggle because my wording wasn't all that great. I would use Google Translate just to make sure I'm saying the right words, you know. But my husband, he's also a teacher and he teaches Afrikaans, so he will say, okay, no, not that word, try something else. So for me, with this, I'm really trying to just bring more of Marcia. I'm trying to bring more of myself to this platform and falling in love with Afrikaans again, because everybody around me speaks Afrikaans. It's just me, but I'm learning and I'm loving the journey. So it's really, really been amazing. Thank you so much.
No, you're earning every step of the way. And we've got to ask you this morning, because you are still incredibly young. Are you like every other young person out there, addicted to your phone? How much time do you spend on your phone? This is obviously the theme for the day.
Yes.
Would you consider yourself an excessive phone user?
I think so, yes. My phone usually reminds me, you have spent 5 hours for the week per day on your phone. I'm just like, wow, this is too much, eh? But I try and stay up to date with things, and just, you know, I like doing TikToks and going on Instagram and so on. So I do spend much time, but I try and limit so that I can just have peace of mind and that my mental health, wellness is good. So yeah.
It's all about balance, eh?
It is about balance, but don't you find your industry kind of forces you to be on platforms like Instagram and TikTok to get yourself out there?
Yes, it's that constant pressure of staying up to date and staying, being consistent. But it's a journey, and I think it's just balancing and finding time to just, you know, being on social media, but also finding time to be with yourself and with your family, and even sharing that moments a little bit, just a selfie here and a video there quickly, and then there you go.
Because it's not real if it wasn't on the gram. So we just got to take that in mind. But at Marcia Bothma is where you can find her online if you want to see what she's been up to. Well, you don't have to go to social media to put yourself out there today. You've got the whole nation watching right now. Marcia, you can toddle over to the stage and go do what you do oh so well.
Oh, how exciting, and all the best for the competition.
Yes.
Being part of that mentorship program is fantastic. Now stay tuned, as we do have the talented Marcia Bothma taking the stage with 3 spectacular performances, and here she is with her first performance of the morning. Please enjoy her rendition of Kiss from a Rose by Seal.
To be a graying time, we're alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remains a drug that's the high and not the pill. Did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large, and the light that you shine can be seen? From a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. There is so much a man can tell you, so much he can say. To me, I like a grown addiction that I can't deny it. Won't you tell me it's unhealthy, baby? But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large, and the light that you shine can be seen? Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. Hey. A man can tell you, so much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain. To me, you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny. Won't you tell me it's unhealthy, baby? that when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can be seen. Oh, baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave.
Incredible, Marcia. Thank you so much. 2 more amazing performances coming your way. Don't move a muscle. Thank you so much to all of you. Absolutely beautiful. We'll see you on the other side.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for rejoining the conversation, and your timing is perfect because this is a conversation I think all of us in this country need to tap into right now. I love the Ingram's Skin Sessions, and they are back. And this year, we're excited to delve even deeper into topics that we are sometimes a little maybe too scared to have with ourselves, let alone anyone else. And this thought-provoking campaign is once again set to encourage more brave conversations which are more than just skin deep. Our first topic, I'm really excited to delve into this one. The struggle is real: unemployment and mental health. Now, according to Statistics South Africa, our country has the highest unemployment rate in the world. And in 2022, the stats, they remain at a staggering 34.5%. Now, this number starts looking tame when you start breaking out our younger age groups. Get this, 63.9% of those aged 15 to 24 and 42.1% of those aged 25 to 34 years old are unemployed in South Africa. Now, scratching below these statistics reveals a heartbreaking reality about how easily one can end up feeling frustrated, hopeless, and eventually completely burnt out while job hunting. And I think rising desperation can lead to severe mental health issues. We've seen this in the country over the last 2 years especially, and the collapse of self-esteem. However, identifying burnout may not be as simple as we'd like to think. Now, joining us today to unpack this multi-dimensional topic a little bit further and share their advice is actress, writer, and poet Lebo Mashile, digital entrepreneur Mpumi Ledwaba, and life coach Kirsty Melmed. Ladies, welcome back. So good to be connected with you in person, not on Zoom. Right. My mental health has just improved as a result of that. And thank you for rejoining these conversations, going beyond skin deep, because this, I think, is such a vital conversation to have, because we are just too afraid to be able to speak about these things in a way that we need to make it accessible, to normalize the conversation. It's a difficult one, and it's difficult to know where to start. Maybe, Kirsty, I can start with you, because when we talk about burnout, you would normally associate that with working too hard for 20 years and you then burnt out as a result of just making ends meet. Now we are finding almost an entire generation. When I talk about numbers like 60+% of people under the age of 24, that's when they should be at their most active and hungry hunting for jobs. Kids are burnt out just by the notion of looking for work because life is so difficult. Maybe we can start with the practical application. The signs of burnout. What are some of those red flags that someone is now entering into dangerous territory?
So I think the thing that we can all be aware of is when we experience stress in our life, it's actually a physiological thing that is happening to us. So it's our nervous system moving us from rest and digest, which is kind of our happy place, in our parasympathetic nervous system, down into our sympathetic nervous system, which is that fight or flight place.
Fight or flight. Oh.
And so when that happens, this is when we start to experience a lot of anxiety and a rush of energy to kind of get away from the danger or to fight the danger. And so that's when you might become super controlling. Signs like perfectionism, wanting to control everything and everyone around you, making loads of lists, and and that might sound like a practical thing, but actually if it's done in a
as a coping
compulsive, exactly kind of way, then it's actually not that healthy. And we're designed to experience stress in short bursts. But when you're job searching and you're not finding anything, and when you have the pressure of being young and finding your purpose and all of these good things, that's a long experience of stress, which leads to you actually going into that burnout place. And this is where that energy that you had to conquer leaves you, and you become very hopeless and very energyless, and you can lead to depression. And so I would say the warning sign is when you're going into that kind of manic state of wanting to fix the situation, that's when you need to be taking deep breaths, asking for help, reaching out for support, moving your body to help process all those stress hormones that are going through your body, exactly, so that you don't get to that place where you actually just can't cope anymore and there's nothing left in the tank.
And we can throw in a little lesson in privilege, add to that some of these young people are most likely the only breadwinner in their family, or at least the pressure is being put on them to run their household, and it gets very real very quickly. In our line of work, we're normally out of work, girl. If you're an actress, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're getting a no. And people don't realize that about this industry. But it teaches you some mettle, it forces you to grow a thick skin and to understand. But you are constantly looking and you're constantly getting a no. How did you manage that part of your journey? Because it's still there. You're just going for bigger things and getting bigger no's.
Absolutely.
That's the way that it works in our world. How do you deal with that?
You know, for every audience that gives us a round of applause, there are 10 rejections, 10 gigs that don't materialize. The constant ebb and flow of this business it's very difficult to maintain and even keel. I mean, as you were speaking about like perfectionism and that constant state of anxiety, a lot of us live there just as a permanent reality. Like that state of anxiety is part of the fuel that we use to be able to perform and to do what it is that we do. So I think for me, managing that as I get older, it's that much more important because the knocks. Oh, thank you so much. Managing that that ebb and that flow and the emotional responses to the anxiety and the fear and the rejection and the depression is becoming that much more important as I get older, because I'm realizing, like, you know, I'm not as resilient as I was.
I was waiting for you to bring out the R word. I was like, oh.
Yeah, no.
That's a big
and
thing,
also with the last 2 years as well, you know, it's been such a tumultuous environment. And I think even if you, in our business, even for those of us who are working or have been able to hold on, there's so many people who aren't. So you're impacted, whether you experience it directly or indirectly, it hits you. I think in the last 2 years, what's become very important is support networks, you know, being honest with people in my community about what it is that I'm going through, and laying it bare, you know, like I've just had an audition, I've been rejected, I feel like crap, please help now, you know, and being in therapy as well. I've been in therapy for the past 3 years, which has helped me to see how a lot of the behavior that I've normalized and that our industry normalizes is unhealthy behavior.
That aren't okay,
That aren't okay,
I mean, the world isn't quite okay, and it's going to be a few years before we are okay, and there is not a facet of life that hasn't been affected like that. We move online, and Pumi, you would think a digital creator online lives carefree. They never have to worry about anything. Just be creative.
Yeah.
But when you need to be creative to eat later that day, it becomes a very different prospect. Everyone has been affected, and just because you've got this myriad of opportunity out in front of you doesn't necessarily convert to you getting those opportunities. How do you manage your anxiety in that space, and how do you feel about the area that you're playing around in that digital world? Because it feels like mental health online is just as at risk as it is in, I don't want to say the real world, because we live in our digital spaces now, but it feels like that mental health is, that it's a very tenuous grasp in that online space.
Sure, I think just to even take it back from my own journey and my own career, I had to separate, because in the beginning, I think you guys will relate, as a creative, you don't go in and make the money. You first have to sow the seeds, you first have to lay the ground, you first have to prove yourself, right? And I think one of the most important things that I need to point out to creators, especially young people, is that you need to be able to separate between my passions and my business, or my passions and what actually makes me money, you know? And when I started out, before I became full-time in content creation, I had a salon, I had a business, and then I started YouTube as a way to unleash my passions, to be creative. And before you knew it, because of consistency and the passion, then I started getting paid for that. But I think I just want to bring that reality that when you start out, chances are you're not gonna get paid. So to ease our mental health, it's important to realize that sometimes you can just have a passion, and it is that, and you need to be consistent in that, and eventually it will catch on and you'll start making money from that. So it's important to really have that thing where you just get your fulfillment, get your release, find your sense of purpose, and then also make sure that you're making money somewhere before it catches on to the creative space.
Yeah, and often just think about the job that you have right now is the stepping stone to the job that you know that you deserve. Yeah.
I mean, my business salon, I ended up using my YouTube channel to advertise my salon, you know? So things just work in steps, but I think as young people, we need to be able to separate, especially in the beginning. What brings me money? What brings me fulfillment? And eventually everything will come together.
They will merge.
They will merge, yes.
This conversation is definitely going to continue over, hopefully, for months to come. It is so good to have these thought-provoking Ingram Skin Sessions back, and we're going to continue for the rest of this year, hopefully. But you too, most importantly, can join the brave conversation, and in so doing, stand a chance to win R1,000 every single week. That'll improve your mental health just a little bit, I guarantee you. And to be this week's lucky winner, simply reply to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram page by telling us how you've coped with burnout from job hunting while unemployed. And don't forget to include that hashtag #YourSkinYourBrave. This week's competition closes on Friday, the 1st of July at midday, so you don't have a huge amount of time. But you can find the terms and conditions on expressoshow.com, and we'll keep the social media updates, or at least the handles of our 3 guests today, on our social media platforms, so you can continue the conversation with them as well. It's all about finding people within your network, within your community, within your tribe. Connect to them, let them know how you're feeling. I can guarantee you there is an insight waiting to help you right now, but just ask for help.
Yeah.
Do you own your skin? Do you wear it bravely, even when others try to dim its glow? Does it represent your strength, your heritage? Or does it express your brave and unconditional love? New Look Ingrams, your skin, your brave.
And of course, continuing with the conversation of this morning, stressed and feeling burnout. Maybe you are stressed and maybe you are feeling burned out. Well, we heard the calls. We have a personal trainer, Heinrich Vasson. He's back and he's still with us this morning as we look at ways to combat mental burnout. Now, exercise is probably one of the best ways to combat burnout and has been found to increase well-being and also decrease psychological distress, perceived stress, and also emotional exhaustion. So please, we encourage all of you at home to join in on this workout this morning. And if you are, please send us a WhatsApp, send us a photo, send us a video of you doing the routine as well. That number is 063-408-8863. Now, Heinrich did warn us. He said early on he's going to take it easy. This time, we are stepping it up a bit. Yeah. And I even heard you mention a burpee.
Yeah,
and,
it's a half one. It's fine. It's fine. There's some tuck jumps involved as well, but, you know, all in the spirit of a good Tuesday, right?
Okay, so I did say that it's my first time getting back, so I will modify your versions.
Exactly.
So I won't do the full one. So if you are wanting to get back into fitness, you can definitely modify with me. So what is the first one?
So we're going to do a burpee.
Wow,
I
knew it.
It's
I
a
knew it.
swear
Okay,
word. It's a
burpee,
swear
we
word.
have
I
to
get
get
it.
it.
So burpee into tuck jump. So I'm going to show you the sort of full intense version, and then I'll show the modified one as one. I think it's nice. I'll keep doing the slightly more intense one, and then you're going to keep doing the modified one. So,
and it's not like we're cutting out anything. You're still putting in the
still
work.
Exactly the same movement. The only difference is you're modifying the intensity. That's the most important thing. The movement pattern stays exactly the same. Okay. So half burpee down, feet kick out. From there, you're going to jump back up. As you get back up, you're going to go tuck jump. Okay. So now the regressed modified version itself, you're going to go down 1 foot at a time, step back up 1 at a time, touch, touch. So as you can see, it's exactly the same pattern, just less intensity. That's the most important thing.
So let's do that together.
So from there, hands down, out, boom, tuck, and land. So as you can see, it doesn't take that much longer as well. Next one, plank jump. Okay, nice and easy. So as you're doing for the plank jump, you're going to be in a push-up position. So again, first things first, I'll show you the sort of upbeat version. So you're going in, out, in, out.
And I know you probably hear this all the time. You're obviously a personal trainer, but you have the most beautiful form ever. Like, your body is just insane. Yeah, just
Flash will get you everywhere. Eh?
Okay, so now let's modify.
Yeah, it's a modification. So from there, all you're going to do is instead of jumping, you're just stepping up 1 foot at a time and stepping back. So again, same principle. Just one at a time and back and forth.
And hopefully we can get our core engaged.
Exactly. I mean, that's the main thing. It's just about creating suspension in the core. So once again, same pattern, just low intensity. Okay. From here, the third one is going to be sprinter, so we're up onto our feet. So for this one, again, the obvious part is if you want to modify the pace, just obviously make it a little bit of a slower movement. So you're going to start as sort of a sprinting position, and you're just switching the feet. So we're going boom, boom, boom. And again, if you want to add some intensity, you just keep the pattern flowing.
Hey,
channel the inner athlete.
There we go. Getting
channel the inner athlete. And then last but not least, we're going to a little bit of abs to finish it off. Okay, so the abs, you're going to have a lie down, nice and easy. So all you're doing is from here, lying flat on the floor, we're going to do basically a bit of a sit up, but you're going to tuck the knees in. So from there, you're going up and tuck knees in, flat, up, and control.
Working the body. This is how we burn it on a Tuesday. Let's put it all together.
Let's get it done. So first things first, again, as we said, I'm going to keep going and flowing through the slightly more upbeat version of each exercise, and then you can just keep going with the modified. So we'll just do, on my count, 5 reps, half burpee into tuck jump. Let's get it done. So hands down, up, in, 2, up.
Tuck it in.
3, 4, and then last one.
Last one.
5.
Bring it in. On to the next one.
From there, we're going to our plank jump. So push-up position. Again, we're going for 5 reps. 1,
2,
3, 4, 5. And there we go. From there, sprinters. So nice split stance position. And again, modify the pace when needs be. So it's forward, 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 forward.
You don't need to modify this. Everyone can do this. Just move
2,
their body.
And 1.
Last one.
Last but not least, our ab work. So again, lying flat. And again, this is where we're crunching inwards. That's the most important thing. So I see the tactical little break there. So from here, nice and easy. Flat on the floor. Up we go. Tuck in, release. Tuck in, release. 3, 4, 5, and 1 more for good measure. And relax.
And that, Mzansi, is how you start your Tuesday morning. 100%. As always, great. You had a nice flow movement for us. Second one, upbeat. But go at your own pace. Get active, get moving, and hopefully you can combat burnout with exercise. Hope you enjoyed that one. That was good. Hey.
Want to win a taste of the smooth life? Buy a Tropica, find your unique code under the cap, and stand a chance to win your share of 100,000 Rand worth of Uber vouchers. If you find the word treasure under your cap, you will win one of these 10 big prizes. A gas hob, a fridge, a clothing voucher worth 10,000 Rand, one of 3 Rest Assured beds, or one of 2 Uber vouchers worth 10,000 Rand each. You could also win a trip for two to the smooth Seychelles, or a whopping 250,000 Rand worth of prizes from Suzuki. So buy a Tropica today, and you could win big. See pack for details. Tropica, nothing smoother.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3. You are just in time. We still have one more hour left, but let's quickly take a final look at your morning headlines. Here's Tabiso.
Thanks very much, Zoe Brown. A final look at those news headlines. Starting off here with our local news. 39 victims of human trafficking have been rescued from a farm in Belfast, Mpumalanga. The victims include 7 women, 9 children under the age of 5 and 23 men. The Hawks said information gathered at the scene indicated that the modus operandi entailed the victims being brought into South Africa in a taxi from Mozambique to Lydenburg in Mpumalanga, where the son of the farm owner and a trafficker allegedly met the taxi driver and then paid for the victims, who were then brought to a farm as laborers. Middle Eastern airline Qatar Airways has signed an agreement with South Africa's Airlink to expand its operations in South Africa. Airlink said that the code share agreement would offer travelers more choice and improved connectivity between 45 destinations in 12 countries across Southern Africa. Travelers will be able to purchase connecting flights on both airlines using one reservation, and Qatar Airways currently offers direct flights from Doha to Johannesburg 21 times weekly, Cape Town 10 times weekly, and Durban 4 times weekly. The new code share flights will commence on the 6th of July. Now, in news-making headlines abroad, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has sworn in a new acting Chief Justice barely hours after the resignation of the previous one. In the ceremony yesterday in the capital, Abuja, Justice Olakuyode Ariwola took the oath of Justice of Office to replace Justice Tanko Muhammad, who stepped down earlier in the day, citing health reasons. Muhammad's resignation came barely a week after 14 of the 16 justices of Nigeria's Supreme Court, including Ariwola, complained in a leaked memo about Muhammad's leadership, saying he had failed to address the welfare concerns of his colleagues. Now, NATO has signed plans to massively increase the number of its forces at high readiness to more than 300,000 troops. NATO's Rapid Reaction Force currently has some 40,000 troops, and that is available at its disposal. And Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said the increase followed a direct threat from Russia to European security. Stoltenberg said that several NATO battle groups in Eastern Europe would be bolstered to brigade-level tactical units of several thousand troops, which he said was intended to send a clear message of deterrence to Russia. Now, this report is especially for our very own nature boy. Our viewers also know him as Ral de Monet. An Australian mechanic has smashed the world record for most push-ups in an hour, completing a staggering 3,182. I mean, that's not right, and that just doesn't sound right? But Daniel Scully managed to surpass the previous total by 128, cranking out 51 push-ups every minute for a solid hour. And his feat has been officially confirmed as the second Guinness World Record achieved by the 20-year-old, following his record-breaking stint last year when he spent 9 hours and 30 minutes in an abdominal plank position. And incredibly, he has done all this while suffering from a condition which can cause excruciating pain. Daniel has suffered from a condition called complex regional pain syndrome, otherwise also known as CRPS in short, since he was 12 years old. It developed when he broke his arm, and it's virtually his brain telling his left arm that there's pain there. And he says, I quote, anything from a soft touch or a slight movement can cause unbearable pain. And Daniel has also raised $61,000 for the Australian Pain Management Association. Well, what says that about you, Nature Boy? How many can you do? What do you say? Eat your heart out, mate. I might even take him. No, won't be doing that. In fact, let's leave it right here and focus on the world of sports. Here's Graham.
Thank you so much, Tubbsy. Let's start with cricket and a moment made in history. Morazan Cup's maiden Test century helped the Proteas ladies recover from 45 for 4 to post a competitive total on the first day of their one-off women's Test against England in Taunton. The 32-year-olds put in the performance of a lifetime, really, recording the highest individual score in Proteas women Test history with 150 of 213 balls. That is, South Africa were eventually bowled out for 284. Anneke Bosch making 30 in support, while captain Sine Lewis also chipped in with 27. Then England's opening bowlers did most of the damage with the ball, with Kate Cross taking 4 for 63 and Lauren Bell 2 for 47. Now, staying in the area but flipping to the men's side of the game, England romped to victory on the final day of their third Test against New Zealand at Headingley to seal a stunning 3-0 series win yesterday. So the hosts scored the 113 runs needed to complete their chase of 296 in only 65 minutes as they won by 7 wickets. Now, after rain delayed the start of play, England lost to Ollie Pope for 82 in the first over, but Johnny Bairstow and Joe Root banished any nerves with a dominant unbroken stand of 111. Root finishing unbeaten on 86, while Bairstow did what he does so well. He smashed a whirlwind 71 not out of just 44 deliveries. England also became the first team to successfully pursue more than 250 in their chase in 3 tests on the trot, after chasing 277 and 299 and then finally 296 in the final Test. Then on to rugby. Can get excited about the weekend. The Springboks, of course, will be in action against Wales, but sadly without the services of former World Rugby Player of the Year, Peter Steph du Toit, who will miss the first Test on Saturday through injury. So du Toit had a shoulder operation a few months ago and hasn't completed his rehab, even though he is with the Springboks at the moment, with assistant coach Dion Davids revealing that he will only be considered for the second Test against Wales in Bloem. Du Toit can only start contact training from Thursday, which is too late to render him eligible for the selection this weekend, with the team set to be announced later today. And then finally, we return to the grass courts of Wimbledon, and defending champion Novak Djokovic, he overcame a bit of a scare to notch up his 80th Wimbledon win on Monday with a 4-sets victory over Kwon Soon Woo of South Korea. So 6-time champion Djokovic, he triumphed 6-3, 3-6, 6-3 and 6-4 under the centre court roof. The world #1 becoming the first player, man or woman in fact, to record 80 singles wins at all 4 Grand Slam tournaments. Incredible feat. That while Spanish teenager Carlos Alcaraz, he came from 2-1 down to defeat Jan-Lennard Struff 4-6, 7-5, 4-6, 7-6 and 6-4. Then in the women's draw, Tunisian 3rd seed Ons Jabeur, who's having an incredible year, proved far too strong for Miram Bortland, sweeping past the qualifier 6-1 and 6-3, while home favourites Emma Raducanu, she beat Alison Hvank 6-4 and 6-4 to continue her charge. And that's where we leave our sport for this Tuesday morning. Let's bring you up to speed with the traffic.
Thank you, Graham. And we start off with traffic in the Western Cape in Observatory. Now, there's a vehicle broken down on the N2 incoming before Hospital Bend. Please keep a lookout for this and approach with caution. Moving to Gauteng and Parktown on the M1 southbound, there's been an accident. It's near Jan Smuts Avenue exit. Heavy delays can be expected. Please be patient or add some extra travel time to your journey this morning. And then in KwaZulu-Natal at Shongweni on the M3 westbound, there's a vehicle broken down at the Shongweni interchange. Now that left lane is blocked and causing delays, so please exercise caution when approaching. That's your traffic for this morning. Let's take a final look at your weather. And a bit of news, recent rainfall has slightly lifted dam levels in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, but authorities are still concerned about water consumption levels in the area. Dam levels increased to just over 13% after it rained in the Eastern Cape last week. Parts of the Metro received as much as 40 millimetres between Wednesday and Friday, said the SA Weather Service. During the same period, the Joburtina catchment area had 33 millimetres of rain and the Koreadow catchment area more than 55 millimetres. The Koga Dam catchment area registered almost 16 millimetres and the Potensi catchment area just more than a millimetre. The rain has delayed the opening of communal taps and the throttling of water supply to extended water reserves in the Churchill Dam, which has 94 days of water left. The Luri Dam has 23 days of water left and the Groendal Dam 168 days. The Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality has warned residents not to become complacent and said that they are still using too much water. Well, next we move on to some positive news as we showcase those beautiful sunrise photos that you share with us on our WhatsApp line. Fazia Tobias from Gqeberha shared this incredible photo of the sun slowly rising in the distance and casting a red and orange glow as she overlooks the city. One of our regular photographers, Geraldine Job from KZN, took it to the streets and captured this spectacular glow lighting up the sky. Inane Rez from George is innovating us, in fact, motivating us with this morning that started the day off with a hike in the Outeniqua Mountains and captured the sun slowly rising. And then last but not least, Adrian Witboy from Durbanville showing off the photography skills by capturing the sun reflecting through the indigenous plants and rising from behind the mountain. Absolutely beautiful. Don't forget, if you would love to share a photo with us of the sunrise, you can do so on the Expresso WhatsApp line. That number is 063 408 8863. Well, let's quickly take a final look at your temperatures for today. Heading off in Polokwane, your low is 5, your high 15. Mbombela, 11 with a high of 19. Pretoria, 5, 17. Johannesburg, 3, reaching a high of 15. It's sunny in Mahikeng today. 3 is your low, 17 your high. Klerksdorp 0, reaching a high of 17. Kimberley, the same for you, a low of 0, a high of 17. Bloemfontein -3, reaching a high of 17. Richards Bay 10, 22. Sunny in Pietermaritzburg, 5's your low, 22 your high. Durban 12, reaching a high of 22. Mthatha 4, reaching a high of 23. Sunny in East London 12, 23. Cradock 0 with a high of 24 today. Gqeberha, your low is 8, your high 23. George 11, reaching a high of 23. Sunny in Cape Town, 14, 24. Worcester 10, 25. Sutherland 2, reaching a high of 17. And in Uppington, expect a low of 5 and a high of 22 degrees Celsius. And that's where we leave your weather for this morning.
Well, Zoe, thank you so much. A headline early on caught our attention. We heard Daniel Scally, an Australian mechanic who completed 3,152 push-ups in 3,182 push-ups in an hour. Okay, so we thought, you know what? We have the two meanest machines, the fittest people ever in studio, Uncle Tabzi and Heinrich Besson. So we are going to see how much you can do in the last hour of the show. Let's go down.
All right, no pressure.
No pressure. So we need looking for about 3,183.
Do we count?
No, I think we'll do like 1,000.
Do we count the 3,000 I did earlier?
Okay.
No, it's starting now.
We're starting fresh.
Unfresh. Yeah. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, let's go. 1, 2, keep on going. 3.
Okay.
4, 5. Come on, Heinrich, this looks easy for you. Tabiso, look at that form.
I can't do that.
Yeah? How many are we on? How many are we on?
Yeah.
How many are we on?
It's like beat, ka, push, ba, ka, push.
The Beyonce of push-ups, everybody. That is what it's giving me.
I can twerk, but...
Yeah.
I can't.
How are we doing on the push-up numbers there?
3,001 and 2. And we'll see you after this. Come on, Tamsi, giving up.
I'm sure that's 3,183.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Tissue Oil and Rich Skincare range. Now with 72-hour rich moisture for radiant, glowing skin. New look Ingram's. Your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we continue the conversation about burnout, which is a term that is unfortunately becoming far too common these days, usually explained as feeling emotionally and physically exhausted. But is there more to it? Well, executive business coach Esme Witbooi now joins us to share some of her insights and advice, and we put it to you. Are you suffering from burnout right now? Well, send us your WhatsApp voice note, please, 0634088863. And we've invited someone who I'm hoping is not approaching burnout just yet, but you are probably in prime position to suffer from it. Marcia, our performer this morning, is joining us, and Zoe, who I think works unbelievably hard with about 5 different jobs, and we want to normalize this conversation, so thank you so much for joining us as well.
And I love that we're having this open discussion because burnout can happen to everyone, whether you have a stressful job, but just how serious is a burnout? Maybe I'll start with you, Esme.
Burnout is absolutely serious, and I would always recommend clients to immediately, when you are sensing you're feeling burnout, to immediately recognize and not be in denial and say, no, I'm fine, I'll just go and continue my day. But it is serious because it can just go on and on and on, and then it can actually erode into depression.
And I think this is where it becomes a cycle that repeats itself that you can't break out of. And I think that's the danger when we keep repeating a pattern in our lives.
Absolutely.
Marcia, I'm going to put it to you. You wear many hats at the moment, and it's good to be hungry. It's good to want to be kind of pushing and driving. When does that become too much? Are you aware of your own boundaries, those lines you can't cross? Or do you generally just cross that line, look back and go, okay, I need to take a break, I need to tap out? How does your system work?
I think that happens for me. I just go and look at my week and I'm like, wow, I haven't rested like one day, because I find myself so busy literally from Monday to Sunday. There's always something happening. If it's not the soccer match I'm watching, then it's a performance. If it's not a performance, then I'm at a family gathering. So trying to find that balance is quite difficult at times, and you need to be everywhere at the same time. So it's quite tough, yeah.
So maybe you can weigh in here, because like she said, you do so much, you're up and down, starting early in the morning, radio in the evening. How do you find a balance so that it prevents you from getting to that stage where you are going to feel burnt out and feel overworked and just at the end of it?
Well, I think, as Esme mentioned, it's so, I think you don't recognize the first or even the second burnout you experience. And then because I've experienced it multiple times, I now know the signs. And the way I recognize burnout for myself is when there's career highlights or things that are important to me and I wish it over just so I can go home and sleep, because the next day the morning starts all over again. Yeah. When it's supposed to be the highlight of my week or something, I'm wishing beautiful moments to be over and done with so that I can go to bed. And that happens, and I think maybe about 2 months ago or a month ago, I could feel the signs, and I realized, you need to take a step back, you need to start slowing down, otherwise you will experience another burnout. And what helped for me was to literally take a step back, 2 weeks of no exercise, just to really regroup my energy. I had to go for an IV infusion just for some extra boosted minerals and vitamins and energy, but then also get back into meal prepping and exercising, because I find that that actually gives me more energy.
And that, I know with you, structure is very important. Yeah. I think that speaks to a lot of people, but every person is different. So Esme, in your coaching experience, what leads to burnout? Is it a one-size-fits-all? Are there multiple factors? Is it just lack of balance? What comes across your door?
There are really multiple factors, Graham, to be quite honest. It can be work, obviously, work stress. Also, it can be toxic environments. That leads to burnout. I had so many clients coming with those type of cases. Then we also have, it can be academic. You know, like preparing for final exams and feeling overwhelmed. It can also be just a big promotion happen, you know, to someone, and then they get burned out, they overwork, they need to show themselves, and even the start of a new job. And also even the end of a new job, you know, or just retrenchment or unemployment. And there are common cases and factors that leads to burnout. One cannot ignore remote working. People working remotely. We had so many cases during COVID. Yes, when do you switch off? You know, being on emails 10 o'clock at night, Saturdays, Sundays. That also, those factors lead to burnout. So it is it's really common. I mean, you can have an ordinary mother that is taking care of her children and is having a job and can run a burnout pattern. It's not just a working environment. It has become very common.
The norm.
It's very easy for us to say switch off and reset, but for many people you can't switch off because you have so many responsibilities. As a mom, I mean, as a daughter, as anyone in this life, you have to constantly be busy.
Absolutely.
So maybe you ladies can think about how we can combat this, ways, small steps we can start changing this and not. We're also going to be getting voice notes from you. So again, if you want to weigh in on this conversation, it's 063 408 8863. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, we're bringing it back to the kitchen for some kitchen inspiration, but specifically looking at food that's going to help make you feel like $1 million when you eat this delicious millionaire gnocchi. Every blissful batch of African Gold extra virgin olive oil is pressed with love, and it's really cured to perfection. Now think pillowy gnocchi, melted herbed ricotta, fresh herbs, and a surprise little crunch here and there from the savory golden brown breadcrumbs that you will have sprinkled on top of it. Aha! I know that that's got your attention. Nondumiso is here to take us through this very, very soulful recipe, but I do invite you to get involved with it because what we have done is listed all of the ingredients in a step-by-step guide on expressoshow.com of how you can bring it to life and get that experience for yourself. And cue Nondumiso Peñane.
Yes,
Nondumiso, this one is a really, really exciting one for me because it's something completely different. But it's hearty, it is soulful, but it's also so good in terms of what you are putting in your body and how you feel afterwards, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just what we need for winter, right?
Yeah.
It's a warm, cuddly meal. So we're starting off with some olive oil and we're going to start sauteing our chorizo.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you don't just start off with just like some olive oil. This is African Gold extra virgin olive oil, which is perfectly balanced, medium intensity extra virgin olive oil. It's got that fresh green with a fresh green aromatic fruitiness and distinct pepperiness. It's just a combination of all the good aromas and flavors that you want to get out. In fact, as you put it in there, it's starting to smell really good in this kitchen here already, right?
Yes. Yeah, so we want to start off by sauteing the chorizo.
Yeah.
And of course, we are going to transfer these into a separate bowl. Okay. Now, we need a spoon. Ideally, we'd have a larger spoon for this. But if you're at home, of course, you're going to use a larger spoon and you're going to cook the chorizo until it's actually cooked through, right? Then once you've done that, you are going to then add to the same pan some onions as well as some garlic, and you're going to saute that.
I love the infusion of flavors already. Your chorizo from the African Gold extra virgin oil, that flavor of it has come through there, and you're using the same pan to get in the rest of the ingredients. It's a marriage made in a pan. That's all I'm saying. I love it.
Yeah. Now, if you're at home, obviously you've got more time to basically saute the onions until they're translucent. And once that's done, you're going to add your tomato sauce, and then to that you're going to add some salt and pepper to taste, and some oregano, and and then of course
herbs.
Herbs, exactly. Now, in the meantime, if you could please just prepare our dressing there.
Okay. Well, before I do that, let me tell you that this recipe is perfect for finishing over meats and, you know, for tame enough. It's also tame enough, I suppose, for that gentle drizzled over salads if you want to do that with it. African Gold is African excellence at its finest. Honestly, it's something to be proud of. It's a locally produced oil that is not only pleasing to the palate, but to the soul as well. And that's why I said earlier on, it's soulful.
Yes.
All right, so what have we got here? What have I got here?
So you've got some ricotta cheese there.
Ricotta cheese,
you're going to add some lemon juice.
Lemon juice going
in. As well
in.
as some parsley and garlic.
Zest, parsley. I love parsley.
Right.
Oh, my word. I love me some parsley.
Yes.
Okay, and some garlic. So there's quite a bit of garlic going in this one, which is perfect for the season, right? Because I know a lot of people have been complaining about feeling like a little bit fluey and all of that. And now that you people aren't wearing masks anymore, I know you're going to want to make sure that you add all the good food to make sure that you protect and defend your immune system.
Yeah, and then once your sauce has simmered and it's nice and warm, you're going to add your cooked gnocchi. Okay. And then we're going to toss that. Just make sure that every piece of gnocchi is covered in our delicious sauce, and of course we leave that to cook for about 5 minutes. And then of course we'll be ready to serve, and we are
good to go.
Serve it with a dollop of the ricotta that you've just prepared for us.
I love that. The thing about gnocchi, tell me, is it that it cooks perfectly over a longer period, or is it one of those you've got to stand right behind the pan to make sure that you are quick, going in? How does it work with heat?
So with this recipe, of course, we pre-cook the gnocchi. So for this it's fun. So you want to actually pre-cook the gnocchi because here we've just shown you how to prepare the sauce and add the gnocchi. But
oh man, I know that this recipe we've just made ideally would serve 4. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to share this with 3 more people, but this is what the final product looks like when it's all done. Our sauce on the side there, our breadcrumbs on top of it. It's a bed of goodness, and I'm going to give it a taste, Norithando, and tell you what I think of it. If it tastes as soulful as it sounds. Let's get some chorizo in there as well.
Let's see. What do you think?
Mmm.
How delicious.
Splendid.
Right?
Splendid. I love this.
Yeah,
it is the perfect combination of all the things that you need. You want this recipe? Go on expressoshow.com. It's there. The list of ingredients is there. You have no excuse. This is an experience worth bringing into your own home. Nolithando, thanks for doing this for us. Love your work, homegirl.
Thank you.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Moisture Plus, enriched with triple glycerine. For 48-hour intensive moisture. New look Ingram's. Your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we are, of course, continuing our conversation on burnout this morning and its different manifestations and what we can do to get better. So please send through your questions, your experiences. Maybe even you just want to weigh in and send out something. You can do so via our WhatsApp line. That number is 063-408-8863. Now, we still have Executive Business Coach Esme Witbooi, who's joining us to share some advice, as well as a performer for the day, Marcia, and as well as Zoe Brown, that's joining us on the panel to speak about this. But we also have someone on the WhatsApp line who wants to share her thoughts, and her name is Michelle. Let's take a listen.
Hi, my name is Michelle, and lately I have been suffering with burnout. So the problem is that once something happens, everything happens, and this is a constant thing in my life. There's just been a lot of things being put on my shoulders, and there's been a lot of things that I have needed to take care of, and my family aren't doing too well. And with regards to jobs, I've been struggling, so I just needed some clarity on how to deal with something like that when it's out of your control, when everything is out of your control.
Oh, and doesn't it feel like the world has been out of our control? I think we've been subject to so many things that we have no choice, we have no control over. When that snowball effect starts to kick in, when we are feeling overwhelmed, Esme, what should we do in a practical sense? How do we just put the brakes on and get back into the moment? What advice do you have for Michelle?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, you have to recognize what's happening with you, with your mind, your emotions, and your body. You need to understand, okay, I am not okay, and accept that I'm not okay, because I get many people who know all of these things are happening to me, but they would still be, I'm okay, I'm fine, I can do this, I've done it before, and I'm strong, and I can't. You know, you have to take a step back, because then you get to be vulnerable. You get to be vulnerable and sit and say, I need help.
And I think that's probably the toughest thing, and sounding like Michelle when she's dealing with such a complex situation around her. Maybe you don't know who to turn to. Maybe you don't know. Then speak to a professional. Speak to someone. Phone the depression and anxiety support line. Just speak to a person. We had Sharon weighing in on our WhatsApp line as well. Let's hear her thoughts, insights as well.
Hi, my name is Sharon, and I am definitely nearing a burnout. I feel that I have been overworking myself exceptionally, and it is time for me to take a break and pull myself towards myself.
Kudos to you, Sharon, for us understanding that and recognizing that. Like you said, that is always the important part, is listening to your body, listening to your thoughts and saying, you know what, I have been overworking myself. But again, how do you find the balance? Marcia, maybe you can weigh in. How do you reset and say, you know what, I can feel that I'm getting edgy, I'm nearing the end of a burnout. How do you step back and reflect?
I can totally relate to what she's saying. I think for me, when I feel I'm being burnt out, I just crash, I just sleep, and I wake up late even because I don't take time off. But it's important to just notice that, okay, you need to rest. Put in that leave, take off, go to the beach, take that drive, because it helps you just calm down and gather yourself to understand, okay, what do I need now? Do I need to speak to someone? Do I need to go away for a vacation? Or do I need to just spend time with family and just exercise, go and watch the birds in the sky or something? So I think it's very important to maybe even be selfish and just say, I need time off, and I need to sit still now, and I need to relax. And I think that helps.
And often that'll give you the perspective that you need, because if you're too close to the problem, often you can't see the wood for the trees in that space. Amy dropped us a voice note as well. Let's hear where she finds herself in the world at the moment.
Hi, good morning, team. I was recently hospitalized, and even though I was staying in hospital, I still found myself responding to work emails. And I just want to find out, how do you go about balancing your mental health and working and establishing boundaries?
Wow.
So I'm going to call you the queen of boundaries. I know you don't always get it right, but it does feel like you get it right more often than the rest of us. How much of an effort does that take? Is that a pattern that you've introduced into your own life? How do you find that way to kind of ring-fence yourself in that space?
Those boundaries are so important, and like you said, it's not always possible to get it right. But what I've made the decision on doing is I have multiple email addresses for each company that I work for. I have chosen not to have them on my phone. So when I'm at radio, I only get my radio emails between a certain time. When I'm here, I only get my emails here at a certain time. That kind of caused some boundaries that I've had to put in place. And when I do take time off and I go on holiday, or not that that's always possible, but I want to take a bit of a break, I can't get myself to delete the icon off my phone, but I move it to the back, to the very last side, and you don't see it. And what I've done is I've turned all notifications off on emails, messages, even social media, so that I only see it when I choose to go into it. And then there's not that little red number hovering over your head, like, ooh, there's something that needs my attention.
You've just solved both problems of cell phone addiction and burnout in one go.
Turn off the notifications. Isn't it often we hear people say, you know what, they're scared to speak to their boss about the situation. They're feeling they're coming to a burnout, but they don't know how to approach and speak to their boss about feeling this way. How would you suggest our listeners and our viewers approach this and say, you know what, I need time out?
Absolutely. First of all, very importantly, it is very important to have a constructive conversation with your line manager or direct report about your situation, and not a casual talk, because I've had one client who was, I'm going to talk to him about it over lunch. Well, he's just going to say maybe, oh, you know, just have a day off, you'll get it together, and not handle it as seriously as it is. So it is important to find the right time and get your direct line and say, we have a situation, and I like to bring it to your attention, and this is my situation, and this is how I would deal with it, and I would really invite your suggestions as to assist me. You know, and that is one of the most constructive approaches of dealing with it, to not be on your own, but to bring in and make your direct line report aware of your situation, and then you can work together on how are you going to progress out of that.
And I love that, because the second you ask for their advice and they open their mouths, they're emotionally invested in the outcome.
Absolutely.
They will get on board, and I think this goes to Amy specifically. As essential as you think you are to your company running, that you need to be operating emails from hospital, they will get on without you, I think. You can take that time. But the bottom line is no one is immune to burnout, doesn't matter where you sit in life. And we are learning and taking better care of ourselves, and maybe perhaps finding new ways to manage ourselves and those expectations before reaching that breaking point. It's essential that we do it.
Absolutely. Take that leave, go on that walk, and find your inner peace. Your future self will thank you for it. However, we have Marcia here to perform just for us. So, Marcia, please go on over.
Help us through this burnout, girl.
And she is doing something so fitting. Her next performance is called Stronger, and hopefully this will inspire you to be stronger and that you don't face a burnout. So, Marcia, take it away.
Everything you want to desire, writings on the wall and it's still the same. You quiver and change. Do not want and do not complain. Practice what you preach, we are not the same. We even better than yesterday. Don't poison your name. You speak to me and aspire to conquer the flesh. One day we'll meet, climbing the stairs to heaven. But here we are, trying our best just one more time. Hey, you are stronger, better than ever. You can do it. Peregrination, love is a language. We must learn to speak it. Put your fist up. You are stronger. Stop and listen to the beat. If you're idle, hands and feet will itch. Put your dreams in motion and make it explosive. Tension, attention, I have something to mention. I am way better than my mess. Be confident, you will not go wrong. Just remember that you are strong. Hey, you are strong. Yeah. Trials and tribulations.
Wow.
It's my feel-good breakfast show. Introducing new Panado Pediatric Syrup 5ml sachets. They're really convenient to pack and easy to use, so you're always prepared for pain and fever, anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. Now, when parents need a miracle, they look into their son's eyes and they realize that they've already created one. They've created a miracle. And Panado is giving you the chance to win 2,500 Rand daily by telling us about your incredible son's achievements.
And we are just about to announce our latest next lucky winner. So, without further ado, can I please get a drum roll? A massive congratulations this morning to Judy Padiachi!
Judy commented on our post saying, I nominate my son. His biggest achievement was working and studying towards his degree last year, doing it all with his own strength. I am so very proud of him as he was living on his own and had to fend for himself with food and living space. Hashtag
out of the nest, yo. Judy kicked her son out of the nest and he shone. He flew. And we have Judy on the line right now. Judy, a very good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine, thanks.
Oh, so good to connect with you. So, congratulations. You've won yourself 2,500 Rand. How are you feeling?
Thank you so much. I'm feeling awesome, guys. I have no word. Thank you to Expresso and to Panado.
What is your son's name? He sounds like such an incredible young man.
It's Ashley Padiachi.
Ashley Padiachi, and I see a picture of Ashley and Mommy there. You can see, I mean, the love, the connection. It's
love that
just
smile,
stunning. You must have created lots of memories with Ashley. Tell me some of your most standout ones, or maybe just give us one that really just sticks out for you.
Yes, my most memorable experience with him was when I won a cooking experience to Cape Town, and we cooked with celebrities, which was super amazing.
Oh, beautiful. Does he love cooking like Mommy?
Yes, he does. He does.
I love it.
It's in the genes. We love that. So that begs the question, what are you going to use the prize money for? Ingredients to cook up a storm? Are you going to take the day off and go and enjoy a meal? What do you want to use your prize winnings for?
I'm going to spoil my son with a small party because he doesn't get to celebrate because of COVID after he graduated. So I'm going to buy him a gift and give him a small joke.
Oh, that's a brilliant
that's
idea.
Beautiful. Judy, that is really fantastic. Congratulations. Ashley certainly does sound like a standout son, and like you really want to celebrate all of his achievements. He's done so well for himself. Well done on winning, and congratulations on his degree, and I hope the celebration is lots of fun for him.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Judy Padiachi there, along with her son Ashley, the latest winners, courtesy of Panado, because we love our sons and we want to hear all about your amazing son's achievements. You stand the chance of being our next lucky winner. If you want to find out how, this is exactly how you do it.
Celebrate our sons and win. Catch Expresso to stand a chance to win a 2,500 Rand cash prize from Bernardo each weekday morning from the 20th to the 30th of June. Nominate your son and tell us about their biggest achievement that you're the most proud of. Don't forget to use the hashtag #ADoseOfCare. Enter now. Each day's competition closes at 10 a.m. T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com.
We are back in the kitchen this morning and we are so super excited. The excitement has only just begun because Christmas is coming early as we search for South Africa's best baking duo, and there are only a few more weeks left to enter. Now, you and your best friend, you could stand a chance to win the grand prize worth 50,000 Rand with Golden Cloud and Beacon. Now, Christmas is a time we all know when all the best food is cooked and you eat more than you have all year. It's facts on facts. Fluffy chocolate pancakes layered with a creamy chocolate mousse and smooth ganache may just be the perfect dish to get you inspired to take on this fun challenge. And my twinnie, because someone told me the other day we look like twins.
Really?
If my hair was pink, we'd look like twins. I like that.
That's a big compliment for me.
My kitchen twin is here to make that, and I can't even repeat it. It just sounds so decadent. It's like
so
layers on layers on layers.
Layers on layers on layers. Okay, so we're going to start off by mixing up our wet ingredients here. We've got some milk, and we're going to add in the egg and whisk that in, and of course then some vanilla and some oil. So we're going to whisk the wet ingredients. Okay. So in the meantime, do you want to start getting going with that?
No, I don't want to, because whenever I see equipment in the kitchen, I get scared because I know it's going to go everywhere. That's why they said, Jamie, please make sure that you wear, an apron. An apron, because we don't know what's going to happen. So already we have the filling over here. We're going to add in some cocoa powder.
Yeah.
Some, what is this?
That is icing sugar.
Icing sugar. And then vanilla as well. And then
you're going to whisk that, of course, and then until you get medium peaks.
Hope in the meantime, for the best, everybody.
In the meantime, I'm adding the dry ingredients, and we're using the Golden Cloud pancake mix here.
Which, of course, is so quick. It is so easy to make. Prep in just about 10 minutes with the addition of some eggs, like we're using some oil and water. Or you can use and substitute with milk if you have. You can have, get this, 25 pancakes ready in minutes. It's that easy. Of course, we're using Beacon milk chocolate as well as the Midnight Velvet chocolate. Add the final touch of smooth and creamy decadence to your weekday treats. It is perfection. We are loving this. And I'm also just trying to stall because we're ready to use this.
Okay. Then, of course, once you have mixed up your batter, I'm going to need some more milk here, so I'm not going to do it. We are going to transfer about a quarter cup of the batter into our greased pancake. We want to cook the pancake until it starts to brown around the edges, and then the surface starts to bubble. Okay, so we want to end up with something like that.
Okay. Ooh, that looks nice and fluffy, and I can see the chocolate in there. It's like infused. I'm not turning this any higher. This is the pace we're going. This is how I'm going to be whisking this. Because as you can see, I'm not messing. So here we go.
Yeah, and then while you do that, I'm going to prepare the ganache. So I'm going to add some warm cream, and then we're going to mix it. Now, we have here some warm cream. If you at home have the luxury of using the microwave, you could always just pop it into the microwave and, of course, get the chocolate nice and melted to
yummy.
make your ganache. Okay, so now if you can please start layering for us.
Okay, let me try to put this away, just so that I can have some more space. So you want me to layer it?
Yes, because this is all about the layers, hey. But now let's wait. But before you do that, let's start at the bottom. Yeah. So you're going to start by making the first layer.
Ooh.
Fill it up with that.
I'm excited just to eat this. This looks amazing.
It looks so delicious.
Okay. So there we go. Our first layer is on, and then we're going to go in with our second layer.
Second layer. Ooh, yum, yum.
And you can add in banana. I would go in with adding some banana if you wanted to, but this is perfection just as is. Here we go. And another layer.
And then another layer.
I mean, don't be shy with the layers.
Don't be shy.
I'm trying to be
like
conservative and
dessert.
Here we go. And then our final layer. Go for, see how many layers you can actually do. You can go for 4, you can go for 5, 6. Look at our layers over there. That is amazing.
Right?
There you go. How's the ganache coming on?
So we are not going to pop ours into the microwave, but of course,
the people at home, they've got microwaves ready and they're going to mix it. So we're not going to use our ganache just for today because the chocolate's not melted. But the point is we're going to end up with something as gorgeous and delicious as that over there.
My mouth is watering. Thank you so much, Twinny, for bringing this all together. It is amazing. Hopefully you can try this at home. But also, we have some weekly prizes for our viewers. When you submit your entry, you also stand a chance to win one of 2 hampers valued at 500 Rand. Now, this is so simple. It's very simple. So all you have to do is grab your best friend and get baking. And here's how easy it is to enter. Check this one out.
Christmas comes early on Expresso as Golden Cloud and Beacon search for South Africa's best friends baking duo. You and a friend stand a chance to win the grand prize worth 50,000 Rand in the ultimate Christmas in July bake-off. To enter the challenge, create your bake with Golden Cloud and Beacon. Share your photo of the bake on the Golden Baker Search Christmas in July edition competition post on the Expresso Facebook or Twitter pages, or WhatsApp line on 063-814-2300 using hashtag Golden Baker Search. And tell us why you are SA's best baking duo and why you think your creation is the best. You could be one of the 5 finalists competing live on Expresso for the grand prize worth 50,000 Rand. The winning duo to be crowned live on Expresso this July. Brought to you by Golden Cloud and Beacon. Entries close on the 17th of July. Details and T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com.
It's my feel-good breakfast show. Welcome back. You are just in time because Marcia Bothma is back on your Expresso stage and she is here to perform one last time her song, and this one's called Vlam in my hart. Vat het weg.
Ik wil zien, zin ik maar met al die kracht, baby. Als jij aan mij vaart met jouw kracht, voel ik weer beraad, baby. Kan je nou net rijden, waarom zo is de braai? Hij mag er ook ja, als hij praat. Kan je nou net zien, hij heeft zo'n samier, hij is mijn bestie. Zij spier waarom baby, in mijn handen, zij doen nog weer, wat wil ik ook eens keer, zie de storm naar hier die, hij is een vlam en een vuur brand, het mij in jouw hand, zij spier waarom baby, in mijn handen, zij doen nog weer, wat wil ik ook eens keer, zie de storm naar hier die haar, hey, woe, oh, my tennis goals, my protector, my the best. What the next on his chest? Can I my Superman wears? Can I know that see? Stare to Samir as my bestie. And he's the man. There's a flamme and a fever brand. Get my on your hand. There's fever, baby. On my hands, as I don't know where. My pillow put the skin. See the storm. Get the down for praat. Wanneer ik kon verstaan. Op het tijd het die leven mij verslaan. Ik heb die ogen gevat. En de tijd wat ik jou nodig heb. Baby. Jij is een vlam en een fever brand. Geef mij aan jouw hand. Dat is fever, baby. Aan mijn hand, dus zij doen nog weer. Wat wil ik ook eens keer? Ze is storm naar hier niet. Jij is een vlam en een fever brand. Geef mij aan jouw hand. Zij is fever, baby. Aan mijn hand, dus zij doen nog weer. Wat wil ik ook eens keer? Ze is storm naar hier niet. Woo! Thank you!
Marcia Brown. Oh, she's amazing.
Incredible.
Incredible. She is talented.
Wow.
That was her final performance on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Please, can we get a bow, Marcia?
And the band.
Oh, the band
Look
was
at
on
those
fire. They took us
beauties.
to church. I feel like they took us to church with those melodies. Oh, beautiful, beautiful
I
stuff.
kind of feel like Marcia doesn't even get Sunday off. She's going to perform on a Sunday, even.
Every day feels
incredible.
like a Sunday.
Are we allowed to sit down? I feel like we should lie down after today's show.
No, we usually do, eh?
We can rest.
Yeah.
We can rest a little bit.
Getting comfortable.
An incredible show today. Thank you so much to everyone who joined our panel discussions. Thank you to all of the experts that stepped in today. So much food for thought. Hopefully, if nothing else, we have just left you with that little seedling that will take sprout today. Of course, we can still get so excited about the rest of this week, and hopefully we'll continue to inspire you. In fact, tomorrow we're all about sprucing up the home, and we want you to share some of your home projects with us. Inspire us, because you guys are doing the most amazing things every day, so we want to highlight that.
And we want to make sure,
Yeah, we actually want to end of the show on a strong note. And we thought, you know what, let's get Marcia in one more time.
That's like our anthem.
Stronger, a song just for you, hopefully to get inspired. And again, don't go to the complete burnout, because this song is for all of you.
Someone is your daily pacifier, feeling everything you want to desire. Writings on the wall and it's still the same. Do not want and do not complain. Practice what you preach, we are not the same. Be even better than yesterday. You speak to me and aspire to conquer the flesh. One day we'll be climbing the stairs to heaven, but here we are, trying our best just one more time. Everybody get your hands, let me say, you are stronger, better than ever. You can do it. Love is the...
For when it's chilly or rainy or just for the sake of it, here's the toastiest ways of keeping winter at bay, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.